the chat box so that I know everything on my side is smooth. Alright. Okay, nice. Okay, thank you so much for the response. Guys, once again, Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board for the first DOG session of the year, the first public webinar by Far Capital in 2026. In this session, we're going to cover which place is a deal and which place maybe needs a bit more thinking. So tonight, there are 3 locations we'll be covering tonight. There are Johor, Penang, and KL. And stay tuned, guys, because we will also be sharing the latest market updates for 2026. And for those who watching this session live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, I'd like to welcome you guys to join us on Zoom. Sebab dekat Zoom, you can ask us hot questions related to tonight's session. Our team will share you the link in the comment section on each different platforms. Alright, and for those already on Zoom, you can drop your related questions in the Q&A box and we will answer one by one later during the Q&A session, okay? Alright, ladies and gents, I'm going to do a quick check. Siapa dekat sini pernah join DOG session? Put one in the chat. Give me one in the chat if you have joined the session before. And untuk yang tak pernah join, for those who is the first time joining tonight, boleh bagi saya 2 dalam chat. Ada tak? Let's see. I see, alright. I see, ramai juga yang join for the first time tonight. Okay, nice mix. Love the energy. Thank you so much for the response. Okay, without further ado, before I call upon Faizul Ridzuan and the rest of our panelists tonight, let me quickly go through the housekeeping rules for tonight's session. So firstly, there will be no recording given, but if you wish to watch this session again in the future for reference, check out our YouTube channel, Faizul Ridzuan. We will upload the video in that channel. Secondly, do not share your personal information. Keep it to yourself. And yes, we will answer related questions tonight. And lastly, if you have any questions, please put your question in the Q&A box below. Avoid sending your question in the chat box because it's for engagement. Situ tempat kita borak. So we won't see your question. And in the last session, we're going to answer your questions accordingly, okay? Alright. Are you guys ready? If yes, show me some thumbs up, guys. Bagi saya thumbs up. If you guys ready, give me some thumbs up. Alright. Thank you. With that, I'm going to call upon the man himself to kickstart tonight's DOG session. Our Faizul Ridzuan, are you ready? The floor is yours.
Hello semua, Assalamualaikum. Very good evening. Can you guys hear me loud and clear ataupun my voice is a little bit soft? Testing 1 2 3. Boleh dengar Okay. Alright, cool. So Assalamualaikum, good evening semua. Welcome to our first deal or grill for 2026. As usual, we try to review properties, right? That makes sense, or property that does not make sense. Tonight in session is a little bit special. So why is it special? Because at the beginning of 2026, so we've always done deal or grill ni, we compare property within the same area or neighboring area. We have never compared state by state. And I think because, recently we've got quite a fair bit of client who join to become a client of ACAP, and then they always ask, FR, is it better to buy Penang, KL, Selangor, ataupun Johor? Right, which is why today punya session, we really want to give an overview of the market. What's the difference between buying in Penang, buying in KL, Selangor, buying in Johor, right? So before that, right, can I have a show of hand? Who here is a non-Malaysian watching tonight? Anyone here non-Malaysian? Right? If you are, type 1, yeah. I want to see how many, right? So that we can see whether do we have to add more contents for people who are non-Malaysian, so that it becomes a bit more relevant to you guys. Okay, cool. So there's quite a fair bit. So tonight's format will be, the first part will be presented by me. I will do the context setting, a little bit of baseline, and then second part would be we are gonna invite all of the panelists to go and review hottest property in Penang, hottest property in KL and Selangor, hottest property in Johor, right? To see whether you can buy them or you don't, right? So either you buy or you don't buy them, right? And we have to justify, right? Why is this good property? Why is it not a good property despite being hot? So I believe that you're going to learn a lot from tonight. But typically a session like this takes normally lah, guys, nothing lower than 2 hours full of learning, right? So that's the second part. And the final part will be the Q&A. So if you have any questions, pertaining to tonight's session, okay, please put it in the Q&A so that we can answer all of your questions one by one. Okay. So what I can say here is that if you cooperate, right, and if you actually put all of your questions inside the Q&A, I promise you before we end tonight, we're gonna answer all of the questions. So either me, myself, will answer the question live, or the team will help answer the questions, right, on my behalf. Is that okay, guys? Right? So I want to make it worth your time. Therefore, like I said, if you have any questions pertaining the presentation tonight, put it in the Q&A. Those who ask the question first will be answered. So we're gonna, because the reason why I say Q&A is that we can see who asked first, right? We don't want people to cut queue, right? So whoever asks first, we're gonna answer the question first. Is that okay, guys? Is that fair? Right? But again, the promise here is that if you have any questions, if you put in a Q&A, I can guarantee you either myself or my team will answer your question before we end tonight. So if you have to end at 1, we will end at 1. Okay? So brace yourself lah, guys. So before that, right? Before we really start, I want to know which market that you think will do well in 2026. So just speak about 2026 alone. Which market do you think is going to do well? Is it KL? Is it Penang? Is it going to be in Johor? 2026. Okay. And all right. Oh, there's a lot of answer here. So a lot of people are, the answer is actually quite mixed. KL ada, Johor ada, Penang ada, right? So okay, KL dah nampak matured. Penang, okay, cool. JB hot until sunburn. Okay, JB hot until sunburn. That's a funny comment lah, right? Look, guys, to be honest, it's actually a trick question. Okay, do you know what the answer is? What the real answer is? Okay. Now, the belief at Far Capital has always been everything is going to be subjected to the deal that you buy, right? So the market can be great, but if what you buy is shit, you still will lose money, Does that make sense, guys? Even when the market is so bad, but what you buy is spectacular, you're still going to make money. So the beautiful thing about buying property, right, is that even at the same time, right, let's say, for example, if you buy something tomorrow, right, your luck can be completely different compared to the guy who also buy a property tomorrow, but they bought a different property at a much higher price point. So this is not like stocks ataupun crypto ataupun equities, right, whereby everyone buy the same price point tomorrow, right? So if you're looking to buy between 9 to 10, you're going to buy at the price range. Does that make sense? So property is really about the individual deal that you are getting. If you're buying at 20% cheaper compared to everyone else buying today in the same place, you're going to make money. Even though when everyone else don't make money. Does that make sense, guys? So you have to understand, right? You have to understand that it's all about the deal that you enter. If you enter at the right price point, you deploy the right rental strategy, Johor will make money for you, KL will make money for you, Penang will make money for you. Okay? So that's the actual answer. So generic answer, we're going to go through the presentation shortly because it's also going to depend on your goal. Okay? Now, I want you to remember this thing, right? Because everything that you buy when it comes to property, you must ask the most important question. The first question you ask when you buy a property, what is the question, guys? What's the most important question you ask before you buy a property? Okay. Entry price, location, ROI, purpose, price, can make money per square foot, supply risk, ROI price, positive cash flow, goal, exit plan. Okay. Guys, the most important question you have to ask before you buy any property is what is your objective and your goal when you buy the property? Okay. So, in our opinion, there's only 4 goals, right? When you buy a property. The first one, is it for own stay or is it for investment? So for own stay, you just buy anything that you like as long as you don't overpay, you just buy. Because for own stay, as long as you are happy, right? Now, we're not going to discuss own stay tonight. We're going to discuss the other 3, right? So the other 3 would be, are you buying this for capital gain? So that means you are buying with the objective of maybe selling in 5 to 10 years for 200,000-300,000, 500,000 capital gain. So you want to buy, not to make money every month, but you want to buy so that you can sell this at a few 100,000 profit. So that's one, first capital gain goal, right? Number 2, you want to get cash flow every month. You don't want a property that bleeds every month. You want a property that can give you 500 ringgit, 1,000 ringgit positive cash flow per month. Okay. The third one is actually cash out, right? Whereby you are buying the property so that you can get 100, 200,000, 300,000 cash, right? So that you can use to pay off debt, get married, maybe buy HBD in Singapore, for whatever reason. You need to raise capital. Okay. So you got own stay, you got capital gain, you got cash flow, or you got the cash out, right? So different markets give you different advantages. Does that make sense, guys? You understand? Right? So the most important question you have to ask yourself, because everyone is here to make money, right? Except for even people who buy for own stay also want to make money because, well, we are greedy, right? So we want to win all, and there's nothing wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with us being greedy, right? I encourage people to be greedy. I encourage people to not settle, right? Nothing is wrong with greed as long as being done for the right reasons and is being done sensibly. Does that make sense? Okay. I appreciate the guy who basically typed this, right? So you got first own stay, right? Which is not the discussion for tonight, right? Number 2 is capital gain. Third is cash flow. Fourth is basically cash out. So guys, can you let me know in the chat before we start right after this, what is your goal? All right? Because very clear. If you tell us your goal tonight, I'm going to show you which market to play. All right. If you tell me your goal, you will know which market to play in the next 30 minutes. Right. And by end of tonight, you will know all of this hot property. Will it be able to give you what you want? Capital gain or cash flow or cash out. Okay. What you're going to get tonight is very much depending on your level of participation. So if you participate, you're going to get a lot from tonight. If you don't participate, very quickly you akan mengantuk. Tahu-tahu je dah habis, and then ya, jelaka lah mamak ni. I don't know why he's talking lah, bullshit lah this guy. Right? Padahal kau yang tidur. Right? So guys, make it meaningful for you. Boleh guys? Okay. So, are we ready to start? Now that you have basically established your objective. Can we start, guys? Are we ready to go? Ladies and gentlemen. Right? So, tanpa berlengah, let's go. Right? So tonight, like I said, is a comparison of markets of Johor versus Penang versus KL. Now, you mentioned what is your objective. The moment you understood your objective, you will also know what market to focus on, what market to basically completely avoid. Right? What market to focus on, what market to basically completely avoid. Okay? So, this is why we are doing this. Like I said, there's a lot of misinformation out there. We want to provide a guide for people who are looking to buy the right property, either for cash flow, own stay, capital gain, or cash out. Right? This is basically our previous Battle Royal. So we've done a lot of contents. If you can go to our YouTube channel, Faizul Ridzuan, you'll be able to go and watch all of these areas whereby we've, for example, gone to Maluri and Segambut and Terax. We've tried to identify what is the best property available today in that area. So, if there's any area here that is to your liking, my suggestion to you is to spend that 1 to 2 hours, watch the video before you buy into the area. Okay, and I can guarantee you, the moment you watch any of our Battle Royale, right, or Deal or Grill, you become immediately smarter, and no developer or seller in Malaysia can scam you into buying a bad property. That I can assure you, right? So these are just some of the properties that we have actually reviewed in the past. Again, it's all in our YouTube. Go and check it out if you need, right? Now, how are we entering 2026? I think it's quite important, right? Because if the macroeconomic is not doing too well, then you might want to hold off buying property in 2026. Okay? So, I feel good as a Malaysian, right? Because we've had the best performing currency in Asia in 2025. Right? We did so well that even Singapore minister jokingly tell our Prime Minister, hey, hold on, please ensure ringgit doesn't become too strong against the Singapore dollar. Right? It might be a joke, but there's some level of truth in the joke lah. Our Malaysian working in Singapore also not very happy with the immediate level of appreciation of ringgit. But long story short, ringgit has done very well in 2025. Largely because we have a pretty decent economy, we have a pretty decent story, and the whole world is not doing that great lah. So basically, we have done better compared to the rest of the world, right? And I always tell people, if you want to travel to overseas to holiday, you travel when your currency is strong, not when your currency is weak. So 2025, 2026 is a good year to travel, especially to countries whereby they have depreciated greatly against ringgit, right? So it's a good time to travel to Korea, New Zealand, Indonesia, Japan, right? Because, you know, the currency has appreciated more than 10%, yeah, against many of these currencies. Singapore will perpetually be expensive, so we can never afford. Even I feel poor going to Singapore. All right, so yeah, so Singapore kita tak masuk, right? You come there to work, to spend to Malaysia. Okay. Then, from a tourist arrival point of view, Malaysia has been in a way, has still the limelight. Quite a fair bit of people entered Malaysia, went to Malaysia for holiday in 2025, and 2026 is going to be even better because it's Visit Malaysia year 2026. Okay. Now, why do I have to highlight all of this? Because we are under the view that Malaysia currency strength will not remain strong in 2026 because again, you got Visit Malaysia 2026. If the currency is too strong, you know, people find it too expensive to holiday in Malaysia. Okay. And as an export country, there's no incentive for us to ensure that the currency remains too strong. So therefore, the strength of ringgit in 2025 will not be repeated in 2026, but we will maintain. Okay. And then, as far as which state that received the highest number of investment, which is again very important, yeah, guys. This is very, very important, yeah, for you to know, right? Because investment means there's going to be jobs going to be created. Faham ke? Right? Mana? I lost my cursor. I pun tak tahu pergi mana ni. Let me see if I can. Alamak. Right? So, kejap guys. Can you see my slides again tak? Can see, yeah? Okay, cool. So, Johor has got the highest number of investment, right, at 91 billion in 20, not even the full of 2025, which is why Johor property market is doing very well. Rental is doing very well today. And this is even before RTS is fully operational. Okay. Selangor and KL combined is actually higher compared to Johor. But if you separate them, it's basically number 2 and number 3 lah. And Penang is quite far behind at number 4, although it's done quite respectably too. Okay. And the 5th is Kedah. Now, why is this important? Very simple for us. We like investment because investment create jobs. When there's a lot of jobs being created, it's good for the property market from either subsale or rental market. Does that make sense, guys? So it's very important to know investment pergi dekat mana. Where is the money going to? Where is the jobs going to be created in Malaysia? Right? So long story short, Johor, number 1. Selangor and KL, if you combine, is actually number 1. Johor is close number 2. But it is the capital of Malaysia. It is normal to see Klang Valley outperforming the rest of the state, and Penang is number 3, basically. Okay. Now, the other key events that you should know of is that, number 1, global interest rate will come down in 2026. Trump wanted to refinance the debt in US, which is 32 trillion and up, and then we've got war coming up, right? So we've got a lot of things, right? Trump wants to take over Greenland, dia dah pergi attack Venezuela, Iran dengan Israel, you know. So yeah, with all of this global uncertainty and global slowdown, there's going to be very strong likelihood that interest rate has to come down. So means mortgage in Malaysia, mortgage in Singapore will become cheaper in the next 12 months. Right? That's the good news. Then, Malaysia unemployment at end of 2025 reached all-time low since COVID. Malaysia inflation remains one of the lowest in the region. And then on top of that, commodity prices are at an all-time high. Things like, for example, platinum, gold, and silver all has reached a new milestone in 2025. Why? Again, low interest rate, war coming, Japan is increasing interest rate, right? So all of this is causing all of these commodities to go up. All right. Now, let's go. Just now we talked about macro, right? So Malaysia doing quite well. We've got Malaysia, Visit Malaysia 2026 coming and all of that. So now let's go into the full detail, buying in KL versus buying in JB versus buying in Penang. Okay. Now, from a market point of view, okay, this is a property cycle. Johor has already entered a property boom. Okay, that's where Johor is. So Johor is singular lah. Kenapa? Number one, you've got all of this investment. People are also quite excited about RTS, right? Which I have met the transport minister just this week, ngam this week, and he has basically announced and confirmed the RTS will be fully operational before 1st January 2027. So testing will be done Q3 or Q4 of 2026. By 1st January 2027, okay, RTS will be fully ready, right? So the game changer why RTS is gonna make Johor market to be very exciting is because number one, 10,000 people can shuffle between the border. Number two, the most important bit is not just the RTS, tapi the fact that you only have to clear one border at a time. Faham tak? Today, you have to clear Malaysia immigration, then you have to clear Singapore immigration to enter Singapore. Betul? Moving forward, you either clear only in Malaysia and after that, you don't have to clear in Singapore anymore. So the transportation time, right, to go from JB to Singapore will be unprecedented. You guys understand why Johor has entered a property bull run? Johor has also seen double-digit property price increase in the last 24 months, double-digit rental increase in the last 24 months as well. So Johor very clearly has entered a property bull run. Well, okay, we have basically predicted this back in 2021, right? Which is why we've entered Johor Bahru. We begin to buy Johor Bahru property since COVID, actually, 2020. Okay. Now, all the other states in Malaysia has now entered the final stage of recovery, right? So for 2025 transaction, it will be lower compared to 2024, but the price of property in 2025 has reached and will officially record an all-time high. Just wait 2 more months until the official NAPIC report is out. Okay. So, long story short, Johor entered property buran. The rest of Malaysia has now entered the final phase of recovery, about to enter a property boom or property bull run. And this is before even interest rate coming down. So interest rate come down this year, which most likely there will be a cut of interest rate in the next 90 days, minimum one time in Malaysia. That will officially confirm and signal property bull run is here. Okay. So it's important to understand cycle lah guys. So when you buy today, you are entering at the beginning of the next property bull run. Okay. Now, this is to give you a sense of what the rental yield officially today in KL is all about. Okay. Long story short, if you notice all of this area in KL, you are looking at the average of below 5% rental yield. All right. So these are all your KLCC, Bangsa, Mont Kiara, Bandar Sunway, places that you have even heard of, even though you are not a Malaysian. Okay. So I want you to screenshot and remember this. Okay. Because this is very important. Okay. So on average, rental yield in prime area is about 4 to 5% in Malaysia. Okay. That's the summary lah guys. This is for Kuala Lumpur, sorry, not for Malaysia. Okay. Now, for Penang, the rental yield is even lower. Averagely is between 3.5 to about 4.5%. Okay. So, which one does better, guys? KL ke Penang when it comes to rental yield? Which one does better? Okay. Remember why I asked you to ask, what is your goal? Ingat tak tadi? Ada tanya, betul tak? Right? I did ask, right, about the goal. So, now you understand kenapa. Penang rental yield is lower compared to KL. Right? Now, what about Johor, guys? Johor, officially, there's no report yet, but for Johor, it's very normal to see anything between 5.5 to 6.5% today. Okay. So guys, as of today, which state has got the best rental yield, guys? Is it Johor? Is it KL? Or is it Penang? Okay. So, averagely speaking, if you are looking to buy for rental yield, what do you buy, guys? You should be looking at Johor. Okay, because the average rental yield in Johor Bahru is higher compared to KL, is also higher compared to Penang. Okay, so far clear, guys? The first part, rental nak beli dekat mana? Right? Now, this is what you absolutely have to screenshot. This is the goal for tonight, right? This slide dengan the next slide. So this is basically the summary. Okay. Penang will only give you capital gain. It doesn't give you great cash out. It's not going to give you good cash flow. Why do I say so? It's almost impossible to buy a property with 1,000 per month positive cash flow in Penang. Right? But for Kuala Lumpur, for Johor, okay, it's not impossible to buy a property that can give you positive cash flow of 1,000 ringgit per month. Okay? So far clear, guys? Capital gain is for Penang. Right? Now, I would argue that for Kuala Lumpur, while you can get all three, right? You can get all three. Okay? The best play when it comes to KL as of today, in my opinion, is going to be cash out. Right? Because only in KL, you can actually buy property that can give you anything between 150,000 all the way to 500,000 ringgit cash out. Okay? In 2025. Okay? So Penang cash out maximum 150,000. KL, you can find property that can give you 150 all the way to 500,000 ringgit cash out. Okay? As far as cash flow is concerned, KL is also a lot more predictable compared to Penang. Okay? Johor is what is in between KL and Penang. It's got pretty decent capital gain. It's got pretty decent cash flow. It's going to have a pretty decent cash out. Right? But the cash flow is the best. Okay? Because almost all of the 5-6 property developments that we have bought in Johor in the last 5 years, all is 9, 10, 11% rental yield. So Johor is crazy. Again, provided you buy at the right price point. Okay. Now, for all of our friends watching tonight who is not Malaysian, I want you to remember this very important criteria. Number one, only look at these 3 states. Don't bother looking at any other state. Only look at KL, only look at Johor, only look at Penang. You buy any other state, you will most likely have difficulty to exit. There's not enough pool expat buyers who will buy from you when you want to exit. So the market with the highest liquidity, highest number of foreigner purchasing is Kuala Lumpur, KL, and Penang. Remember, guys, our foreign friends, non-Malaysian, please remember this. I want you to make money buying in Malaysia. Stop buying bullshit property at bullshit location and you lost money. So that's guide number 1. Guide number 2, again, I want you to remember very clearly. You can't just simply buy anything in Johor, KL, or Penang. You have to buy only tier 1 area in each of these states. Okay. What is tier 1? Tier 1 is where the expats buy, rent, and stay. Right? Tier 2, Tier 3 is where the locals are at. Right? So, buy where people or expat, people who are just like you, already looking to buy, and you are paying a fair price point. You are not paying a foreigner price. Right? You understand what I'm trying to say, guys? So, number one, as a foreigner, always only buy Johor, KL, and Penang. Number two, even when you enter in these states, please only buy in tier 1 areas only. Right? Now, what is tier 1 area? Again, this is the slide you need to know. Okay? This is a slide you need to know. I've already highlighted these are areas of T1, Tier 1, and TS. TS is a little bit special because it's connected to Singapore. So therefore, the RTS area is considered as Tier S. It's the only area in the whole of Malaysia we give it Tier S. Right? The rest of it is Tier 1. You've got Tier 1 for Johor, you've got Tier 1 for KL, you've got Tier 1 of Penang. So if you are non-Malaysian, please do not venture outside of Tier S and Tier 1 anywhere in Malaysia. Okay? If you are local watching this, you can buy anywhere. Okay? So, we've already also highlighted in terms of what is the purchase price that we recommend in this particular slides. Okay? So, this is another slide you should also screen capture. Okay? Whereby for each tier, we've actually put a recommended price per square foot. So, if you are going to pay above this, that means you are going to overpay. That means your probability of making money is going to be lower. Okay? So far clear, guys? If you are local, you can buy any tier. No problem. If you are non-Malaysian, please make sure stick to TS, tier 1 only. And stick to this recommended entry price. If you pay above this, the probability of you losing money is higher compared to you making money. Okay? Like I said, I will make it worth your while tonight. So this is the 3 slides you really have to know. You have to understand. Transaction is transaction price, right? Per square foot, 900 ringgit, for example. So, for example, almost every property amongst RTS today, right, at above 900 ringgit per square foot, we don't recommend entering. Okay, clear, guys? So, long story short, right, this is your goal and this is the area that you should look into. Okay, for cash flow, focus on Johor and KL. Capital gain, actually every state will be able to give you decent capital gain if you enter at the right price point. Again, subject to looking at the tier, make sure that you don't overpay based on the tier that you are looking to buy. Okay. Last but not least, if you are looking to go and get cash out, focus on Johor, focus on KL. Okay. Clear, guys? So, guide to buy in 2026. Number one, for non-Malaysian, only buy tier 1, only buy tier S. Okay. Number two, you want to buy minimum at 20% discount. You want to buy below market value. And where possible, you want to use little to no cash to go and buy. Right? I don't recommend using cash to go buy any property in 2026. Please find things that you can get a good discount so that you can utilize little to no cash to buy anything in Malaysia, even as a foreigner. Now, in the event you need to use capital to go and buy, you need to make sure your return on capital must be at least 10%. Unless you're looking to buy in Penang lah. Kalau Penang, again, rental yield is actually a little bit low. So it's a bit hard to go and get 10% cash on cash return in Penang. Okay. Then number 4, right? You have to buy property that can at least give you 6% gross rental yield on long-term rental, not short-term stay bullshit, right? Not co-living. So long-term rental, minimum 6%. If you do short-term, you should get at least 10%, 8 to 9 to 10%. Okay. If you do co-living, you should get at least 7%. So long-term must be at least 6%. So why 6% means even if you don't do anything special, you can still get break-even rental. Okay. Who remember just now what's the average rental in KL? What's the average rental? Siapa ingat tadi? Right? Good. Right? 4 to 5% in KL. What about Penang? 3 to 4.5%. What about Johor, guys? Right? Above 6%. Right? So now, can you still find property with 6% rental yield in Penang? Can. But again, you really have to buy the right price point. Can you still buy property in KL at 6% rental yield? The answer is can. Because you still have to buy the right price point. Right? The best tier 1 property we bought in the last 24 months in KL give you a 10% gross rental yield in KL. Okay. Then, last but not least, I highly recommend buy only from primary market instead of subsale or auction, whether you are Malaysian, non-Malaysian. Because why? If you buy from subsale and auction, you need to use a lot of capital to buy. You need down payment, you need legal fees, you need transaction costs, and then you have to spend money to refurbish and renovate the place. If you buy from primary market, you can buy at 20% discount. Okay. By primary market, you can get 20% discount. You can buy with little to no down payment, whether you are Malaysian or non-Malaysian. Okay. Guys, I see a lot of questions, right? First, please put it in Q&A, remember? Right? Don't put it in chat. Okay. Number 2, if you are wondering why, certain places is tier 1, please go and watch our webinar. We've done the tiering webinar for Johor. We explain why is it tier 1, why is it tier 2, why is it tier 3. Now, then there's questions here. Primary market means new project. Do you have to wait so long? Now, number 1, primary markets means you are buying from property developer, not buying from a bank, which is auction, not buying from a owner, which is subsale. Now, we like to buy primary market, which is about to be completed or completed so that you don't have to wait more than a year. So many of our properties that we purchase are actually completed property, guys. So primary market does not mean you have to wait for 4 years. Not all. Understand? Okay. So why only enter new project? Again, because of the capital required, especially when you are not from Malaysia, you earn outside of Malaysia ringgit. I don't want you to basically have a currency exchange risk. Therefore, you want to buy little to no cash. All right. Little to no cash. Okay. So if you buy from subsale, you buy from auction, you need to put a lot of cash. You need to stand by minimum. If you can get a 90% loan, you have to stand by 20% capital. 10% down payment, 10%, 5% transaction fee, another 5% for refurbishment and renovation. Okay. There's no such thing as subsale, no money down. You have to put money first, no matter what. So when you have to put money first, you still have to exchange your money, which is why we don't recommend. Okay. So again, if you are non-Malaysian, we highly recommend buy property in Malaysia using little to no capital. Look, in order to buy property little to no capital, you just have to get minimum 20% discount. Then you can buy with little to no capital, guys. Okay. Now, this is our buying strategy for 2025, right? And this strategy has ensured that we've got result which is actually very good, which is predictable. Okay. So, in a nutshell, this is basically what we do, guys, right? We buy the right price point. We use 8 property filter. Number one, to identify what's the right property, and we buy at the right price point so that we can get to buy property with little to no capital. We get cash out, and then we can do premium renovation. Then we use the right rental strategy, right? And we use the right rental management company to manage the property. So this is what we have done well in 2025. We'll continue to do in 2026. It will work just as fine, if not better. Okay. So whether you are Malaysian, non-Malaysian, if you use these tips in 2026, you will do quite well. Number one, again, buy property 20% minimum discount, right? So that you use little to no capital. Number two, you buy property that covers the 8 filter so that you buy the right property, you buy the best possible price point, you buy the safest property. Last but not least, because you buy below market, you can get cash when you buy the property. You can use it to renovate your property and allow you to go and get much greater rental. Okay. Now, how do we buy? At Far Capital, we buy cheaper. Again, because we buy 30, 50 units, we bulk purchase property, we get to buy things at 30, 40% cheaper, right? Compared to the public, right? So this is an example of properties that we have bought in the last 2 years, right? Can anyone remember what is the rental yield for Kuala Lumpur just now? KL and Johor? Can you remember? All right. Now, if you look at the first two properties, Dina and Diana, we are getting a rental yield of 9 and 8% respectively, right? Isabella, for example, Abby, these are property which is based in KL. We are getting above 6%, even for KLCC property. Okay. So how we know our methodology works? Because we can get way above rental yield. And again, this is basically long-term rental, guys. This is not short-term rental. Okay. So you can choose to ignore what we say, whereby the guide to buy in 2026, and well, you'll be able to go and see you're going to get a completely different result compared to what we are getting. But again, when you buy the right price point, you deploy the right rental strategy, you use 8 property filter to identify the safest property, this is the result you're going to get. Okay. So I'm not going to go through this in detail because we've done a video for this. If you want, please go and watch our YouTube. This is basically a 2-hour video explaining what is the 8 property filter and how you can use this 8 property filter to identify the safest, the best property available today, that no one can scam you into buying a bad property. Okay. Team, if you can put the link for the video, that would be good in chat so that everyone can have access to it. Otherwise, I think after this webinar, we'll actually send you the link, right? So that you can watch it on your free time or when you have leisure time. Okay. So essentially, we look at 8 things, and those 8 things basically allow us to say whether this property is good or bad, right? So this is the 8 property filter. Again, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the full video, right? So I'm not going to explain much tonight. Just for you to know that how we can identify good properties, we use 8 property filter, right? That's how we identify safest property. How do we buy property at the best price point? We buy in bulk. Therefore, we get completely different discount compared to the public. Okay. So this is just some example, right? Whereby when the public is only able to go and rent units at 3,005, we can get 5,004, right? Rental. Same property, but public buy at a completely different price point. They don't have sufficient cash out to renovate their unit nice like what our clients are able to, right? Again, this is in Bukit Bintang. You know, outside people can rent 4,005, we can rent 6,000. Again, long-term rental. This is not Airbnb, right? This is Johor, right? Other outside people renting at 3,005, we can get 4,002, all the way to, if you do short-term, you can get all the way to 5 digits, right? This is in Maluri. Public rental is about 3,000. We can get up to 5,000, almost 5,000 ringgit per month, right? This is in Equine. Public market renting at 1,007 for a one bedroom. We're able to get 2,002 highest rental recorded for long-term rental. This is Bukit Jelutong. You know, public can rent maximum 2,008. We have recorded rental of 4,002, right? And this is Sri Hartamas, right? Public rental of 1,009 all the way to 2,002. We are able to get 30 to 40% more, right? And even for Penang, while the public market can get maximum 3,005, our latest unit got completed here. First property deal in Penang in the last 10 years was actually tenanted at close to 4,000. So again, everywhere we go, we break rental records, guys. How can we break rental records? We buy at the lowest price point. We make sure our clients get sufficient cash out, therefore have enough budget to go and renovate the property to make sure that it looks like this. And when the property looks good, you get the best possible tenant. Right? We always like to tell our clients, let the poorer tenants go to other people's unit. We only want to entertain the rich tenants. People who've got money to pay 10, 20, 30% premium. All the agents in Penang tell us, no way you can rent this property even above 3,000. Today we are getting 3,900. This is transacted, yeah, by the way. And 1 month of waiting only. Transacted, yeah, 3,009. I believe this place will have a rental record of 4,000 in the next 2 to 3 months. Okay. So, which area to buy? Again, goes back to what, guys? When you buy KL, Selangor, or Johor, what do you look at? You look back at your goal, number one. Number two, you look at your skill set. This is a client of mine, right? He has bought something in Johor, very, very happy, right? Highly positive cash flow, 4 figures positive cash flow in Johor, because he bought at 60% discount. Okay, 60, not 16. Okay. Now look, already bought something, looking to buy something in Kuala Lumpur, but before that, can he buy Penang first? So when you have skill, knowledge, unfair advantage, you can buy any market and make money, guys. That's the whole point. But first, you have to understand what is your objective. Okay. This client here initially bought for cash out. That's why he bought this property. He also wanted to see capital gain arising from Singapore JB exchange. Okay. Now, second property in Penang, he's buying because he already have a lot of cash out. Now he's looking to buy something for capital gain purely. So he's looking to buy Penang. And the KL one will be cash flow. Right? And the positive cash flow in the KL property will be above 1,000, similar to the one that he's buying in Johor. Okay? Clear? By the way, this guy is Singapore-based, not Malaysian. By the way. Okay? So guys, you can have a goal, right? And you can do one good deal, right? You got lucky, you can do one good deal. But if you want to win multiple times, right? Like Simon here, you need to play with system. Understand? Because with system, you can play in KL, you can play in Penang, you can play in Johor, and you can still win repeatedly because the formula works. Okay? So tonight, I want you to throw away this mentality, JB is good, or Penang is good, or KL is bad. right? It's all about the deal, it's all about the goals, it's all about having a system to ensure that you can win multiple times, repeatedly, predictably. Okay? So yeah, guys. So, first part of the presentation done, right? Ngam-ngam 1 hour. So now we're going to go to the property review. So with that, I'm going to bring my team to go and present. All right. And we have how many properties for review today? Zach?
We have six
Okay.
properties, two each states.
So 2 for each state. So we're going to do 8 property filter. We're going to compare this property. And then after that, once you understand how to use 8 property filter, you'll be able to go and see whether this property can buy or not. And how we pick these properties? We pick this property based on, number one is for foreigner friendly, which is, above the state punya minimum price point. Number 2 is for local. And we pick the hottest property being discussed anywhere online. So the hottest property people say is good, 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 good. So we're going to put it as part of the review using 8 property filter. Okay. Is this too heavy for you guys so far? Or are we okay, guys? Right? Because it's already 1 hour, right? Okay. So far, I haven't wasted your time, right? Okay. So you have to understand concept of tiering. If you use 8 property filter, you cannot run away from overpaying, right? You will never overpay, right? You will understand that you are not overpaying based on each tier. So with that, Zakri, the floor is yours.
Right, thank you, Faizul. Hi, everybody, Zakti here. So today we are reviewing few property based on the context today, right? So we are not talking only about everything in the area, right? As mentioned, we are here to show based on the hot picks properties in the area that we are discussing tonight, lah, right? So without further ado, here are the JB that we are seeing. RNF, the famous mega developments, residential near RTS JBCIQ, right? Famous among foreigner and not to forget the local too, lah, right? And we have Paragon Gateway in JB, and we are showing Penang property Nordins sold out within few months. Lighthouse, the mega developments also in Penang, Skyline Embassy in the famous intersection of Jalan Tun Razak and Jalan Nampang. Last but not least is Bamboo Hills, right? Also taken very fast. And the rest is the property that we are buying in the comparable area, right? So the first one to review, this is one of the hottest properties in Johor Bahru, and it's a mega project. It's called RNF Phase 3, also known as New Casa Suites, right? So this one located at the Super City Center of Johor Bahru. Landmark is CIQ. So it's a walking distance to CIQ First Link, to connected to Singapore, lah. All right. So this is the info for RNF Phase 3. As usual, you can screenshot first. Not gonna go into details here, but roughly layout mixing studio to the biggest layout for better. Pricing average about 900 over ringgit PSF lah, right? You can see here, this is the third phase of RNF already, right? They have the first phase completed, link together, integrated together with the mall. Second is the second phase, just located next to them, and the third phase is located next to the phase 1 also, right? So this is roughly the information that you're looking for, right? Roughly layout phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 is more or less within the same trend, right? So this is how agent outside portray this RNF from their marketing POV, right? First is located at the golden intersection of Malaysia, um, which is connected to Singapore. Yes, it is, right? And this is one of the most highlighted USP also. Foreign friendly property for foreign purchaser to buy, right? This is one of the earliest property that available for foreigner to go and buy in JBRDS, I would say, right? Considering those RTS, RNF phase 1 and phase 2 lah. Okay, before those lambakan, right? A lot of we can see here a lot of new launching in JBRTS CIQ already. This is one of the primary lah, right? Pioneer. Okay, and is a luxury and modern standard as per phase 1 and phase 2. Yes, it looks like it, especially if you're talking about the interior lah. Okay, it's a freehold that link to the more, and the most important thing is link to JBCIQ. First link to Woodlands, and upcoming would be JBRTS. All right. So this is roughly the information on the investment verdict, right? So pricing roughly about 980 ringgit PSF in average. They have quite a big range there. Median roughly about 930 ringgit PSF. You can see those whole unit rental in the area, um, quite quite I would say high on the smaller layout, right? On the bigger layout is on the lesser PSF from your consideration lah, right? So roughly you can see about 2000 to 2005, and on the bigger size is up to about 3007. We can see still, yes, quite a some of unit asking more than 4000 ringgit, right? But the one that we put here is those considering the average market lah, right? And room rental is up to about 1004. And again, we can see some asking up until 1006, 1007 ringgit per month for room rental, right? And parking rate is really really crazy here, since again is one of the available one of the apa parking lot that nearby to CIQ, that link to Singapore. A lot of people looking for it. It's on high demand, so parking is up to about 300 ringgit per car park per month lah, roughly, right? So yeah, so this is the 8 property filter that we run for this particular property. We can see here price, booster, supply, demand, and apa semua ni, right? So price roughly about 3 um, star. It's considering the area consideration. Again, the absolute price of this particular property is a little bit high due to the big size of the property, right? Per square foot, it might be considering one of the on the lower range for launch price in Johor RTS as of today. We can see a lot more asking more than 1000 ringgit PSF, but those other than RNF has smaller layout lah compared to this one. This one has got bigger layout compared to others lah, right? So booster, we can't deny one of the big booster for the entire state is RTS, right? And other boosters lah, Johor SEZ, and also the ART. Hence, we give it a 5 star, right? Supply and demand, 1 star. A lot of supply coming. MRO 4 star, right? Cash flow is a 4 star. As of now, based on this price, cash flow is still quite stable, right? Since this is Johor, we can't deny the rental is actually quite high for you to get up to 10% plus. Quite a lot of people can get more than 7-8%. In Johor is quite normal as of today, right? USP is 1%, 1 star. ROC, capital gain, and cash flow is based on 2 and 4 star. Capital gain wise is due to again the price, absolute price, right? It costs millions property, right? The price is more than 1 million ringgit for many of the units here, right? Again, we are looking at the competition in the area as well. That pricing is
Guys,
way lower.
do you guys understand or not what is being presented? Or you guys are feeling overwhelmed? Nak shortcut tak, guys? Would you like some shortcut to understand this? Okay. So if you go back to tadi, right? So we've done everything, right? All you have to do is to look at the bottom two. Capital gain rating and cash flow rating. Okay? If you want to get above 100k capital gain, you have to find property whereby the capital gain rating is minimum 4 star. 3 star, you don't make money, you also don't lose money. 2 star means there's a very high probability you're gonna not make money. In fact, you're gonna lose money. Right? If you want to get positive cash flow, you have to find 3 star and above. Cash flow rating dia kena 3 and above. Faham guys? So, you want to understand the full thing, go watch the 2-hour video. If you just want to know can buy or cannot buy, look at the capital gain rating, look at the cash flow rating. Simple saja. We have done it. In fact, we have done for 60 or 70 properties, Zach?
Betul. It's
Right?
now 80 already.
It's now 80 already. We have done it. Go and watch it. You guys pemalas nak mampus, don't want to watch the 2-hour video, go and check out the rating. Okay, because we don't simply give out the ratings. Okay, I cannot give you more shortcut than this. Again, I think it's good to understand how did the 8 filter go about, but after you fully understand already 8 filter to why we have price booster, everything else, then all you have to do now, if you are looking for cash flow, just find property with cash flow rating 4-star and above. Okay, faham guys? Okay, I cannot make it simpler for you guys anymore, no. Right? Each of these property being reviewed is a couple of this work just to come up with this scoring. Okay, we've done for 80 properties. Most likely anything hot that has been discussed in the last 12 months, we have reviewed it. All you have to do, just go to our website, go and find it. Okay, shortcut sudah bagi ya dekat Malaysia. Just jangan malas sangat lah, jangan percaya cakap agent saja. Okay, so Zach, I think we can skip a lot of things. We can
Sure.
just go through the property, right? And if you go back just now, tadi satu lagi tadi, right? So this one is quite important for you to screenshot because these are rental rate as of today, right? So these are the rental rate as of today. This is for reference for you. This is how we know based on this rental rate today, is the property going to be positive cash flow ataupun tak. Alright. So if you look at it dekat sini, for example, the 3-bedroom today, rental 3,007, but mortgage is 4,004. Is it positive cash flow or negative cash flow, guys? Tengok 3 bilik, 3-bedroom. Rental maximum 37. Okay. But mortgage is 4,400 ringgit. Is negative cash flow. So there are some layout can make money. There are going to be some layout that will lose money. Okay. Clear, guys? So you go through this. Zakri doesn't have to explain because we have a couple of property. I want to allocate more time for Q&A and then for you to basically ask questions to the panelists. Is that okay, guys? So next couple of slide, screenshot. Okay. We've already given you the clue. Nak cari dekat mana? There's 80 property. We have done the scoring for you. All you have to do, go and watch it. Okay? Cool, guys? I cannot make this simpler for you anymore.
All right. Then let me just continue on the capital gain rating for RNF phase 3, right? So you can see about 2.33 star again based on the consideration above, and cash flow rating about 3.6. So as Faizul mentioned, whatever above 4 is considered a great property for you to go and enter. Maximum star rating is 5, right? Just make it simpler for you guys lah. Right? So next, property.
By
This
the
one
way,
is one of
3 is safe, I guess. 3 is safe. 4 means you're already going to make money. 3 is safe enough. Majority property kita review is all below 3. So it means you're not going to make money capital gain. You're not going to make money from cash flow. So when we give 3, it's actually quite rare to give 3 and above. Okay, so your job is to find property 3 and above to buy something safe. Sorry, Zakri, continue.
Right. So next property, one of the famous for locals as well, right? Paragon Gateway JB. This one located near the Jalan Tebrau, connected Tebrau area, Mount Austin, all the way up to JB area, right? So again, not gonna go through in details. You can screenshot these informations, right? But roughly they got about 2,100 units in one development. It's quite normal to have about 1,000 plus units in JB now, nowadays, right? Quite a lot of developments on this particular, about this range, lah, right? And roughly you can see here is sitting about 1-bedder up until 3-bedder layout punya design lah, alright? This is marketing POV. Prime location with great access next to Jalan Tebrau, one of the main access also connecting to the JB City Centre, right? Roughly about 5 minutes to Mid Valley and also about 10-12 minutes to CIQ lah, right? It's a 5-star facilities and mixed development as per mentioned. This is gonna be one of the luxury interior developments design lah, right? And it's a freehold and it's quite famous. Number 4, shuttle bus to CIQ. So quite a lot of developments in JB offering this lah, right? Another concern that we highlighted here is about high density development lah, about 2,000 plus units, right? So here on the investment information a bit, net price roughly in average about 780 PSF on the range. Median in the area roughly about 650 ringgit PSF on sub-sale transaction. So rental you can see quite comparable here, nearby, ranging about 1,007 up to 2,000 for one bedder, and you can see up until 2,000 plus. Again, some of the asking about close to 3,000 ringgit already for 3 bedroom, and some other developments that we think slightly comparable is up to 4,000 ringgit for 3 bedder lah, asking in the same visit within the short distance of short distance to this Paragon Gateway lah, right? And you can see mortgage roughly up to about 4,000 ringgit for 3 bedder lah. Okay, so again, how do you see this thing is roughly to see the rental roughly for you to project minus the mortgage lah. So you can see it is gonna give a good cash flow for you or not lah. All right, roughly. Okay. So this is the A property filter. Again, not gonna go through in details about this. This is JB anyway. So you can see the cash flow rating and capital gain rating. Capital gain rating is about 2.6. Again, we can't really say this is one of the best price development in the area. But again, this is quite normal to see launch price at launch, new launch property launch at this range of price lah, in tier 1, tier 2 JB, right? So hence benchmark towards the sub-sale transaction roughly about 2.6 for capital gain rating. Cash flow rating is about 3.1. So it's quite a safe move for, it's like a safe rating for this cash flow for Paragon Gateway. Again, this is JB. So 7 to 8% here is quite normal for you to get lah. All right. So next, this is a property that we bought last time. Now no more already, right? We bought last time called Diana, right? So again, not gonna go through in details, but after we run through the A property filter last time with full consideration, we think this is one of the best consideration property that we should enter. Capital gain rating roughly about sitting about 3.7, is going up to best rating at 4 star rating and cash flow rating lah, right? As of now, last time it wasn't this high for cash flow rating due to the rental at this area was not as great. But after we enter, we unlock at least about 3 more rental options from just one, right? So now this particular property, they got 4 rental options for the investors to go and do. And most of them, and not most, all of them is making 4 figures cash flow, right? Some of them making up until 5 figure cash flow monthly, right? Hence the cash flow rating is up to about 4 star, is due to the best rental strategy that implemented in this particular property lah. All right, so it's called Diana. Right. I pass the floor to LB to continue on the next property in KL and also Penang.
Okay, so guys, can you hear me clearly? Okay, so I'll continue our presentations with the one we have in Penang and also KL. So firstly, we'll start with Penang, which is Nordin's. This one is in Georgetown. Okay, so next slide. As we know, Penang's market today, right, they are kind of limited scarcity of lands, but then there's a lot of people who like to actually move back, you know. People will say, I want to retire, or especially those Penang, they will prefer to retire back when they are in Penangs. Hence, you can see across all the states, right, Penang is one of the state that have actually, in terms of appreciations of the capital gains, is one of the strongest lah across all the states. Besides that, Penang's currently they have a lot of industrial parks, a lot of investment pulling into it. That's why even though their last time conceding tier 2 Bayan Lepas is quite a hot today, okay, because there are people are saying, hey, buying Bayan Lepas today actually you can make some like positive cash flow as well. Okay, so we'll go with the first one, which is called Nordins. You guys can screenshot this. This is the details. Okay, so basically for this is located in Georgetown, mainly for Airbnb game. So, but today Airbnb in Penang is actually being banned. So they can actually come up with the rules and regulations that every one of the owners have to sign with the agreements of agreeing to this to be Airbnb lah. So they only can proceed with doing so with 85% of the agreement of all the owners lah. So for those who actually bought it, they have actually know what is going on with these developments. Okay, so next slide. is the marketing point of view lah. So this is considered a prime freehold property in the heart of UNESCO heritage, which is close to all the jetty, okay, all the tourism area in Georgetown. Strategic locations, they have future RT stations, Airbnb hotspots, good rental yield. Because Penang is not only about tourism, they have medical tourism as well. Hence, it was actually helping with the Airbnb games lah. So they actually have a lot of people is coming off from Medan, Jakarta, Indonesians lah. They come here for medical tourism. Okay, so that's why the activities doesn't only depend on the normal tourism activity lah. Okay, for the next slide is the details of the investment verdict. Okay, so currently in this Georgetown area, right? So there was actually transacted about close to 1,180 per square feet, which is by Tropicana 218 Macalister, which is actually at the same Georgetown area lah. Okay, but today notice if you're about to buy, it's about close to 1,004 per square feet. So if people are asking, hey, why actually Penang is launching at this 1,004 per square foot, is it catching up with the KL prices? Don't be surprised actually in Penang, especially the Gurney area. Okay, they are launching about close to 2,000 per square feet. I actually went to some sales galleries, meet some agents. Some of them will be taking it to describe that Penang, all the street keys area, all the malls is kind of busy and is similar like the vibes in Bukit Bintang for all the people to shops around lah. But I doubt it will be like kind of replacement because it's a different vibes and levels when you compare Penang and KL. Okay, so in terms of pricing, I would say this 1,004 per square feet is just basically due to the scarcity of the lands and how Penang's doing today lah. Okay, if you just purely looking at whole unit rental, because if let's say you say Penang's we cannot do Airbnb, today the rental for Tropicana is actually studio is about 2,000 to 2,002, the two-bedder is about 3,006 to 3,008. So for the mortgage, without considering about the maintenance fee, okay, the studios today is you have to the mortgage is about close to 2,005, the dual key is about close to 4,000. Hence, this is why they have proposed to be for Airbnb for a better cash flows and also a better occupancy for this because of the location itself. So the next slide is the star rating. Okay, so that's why the price is kind of a bit low because of the areas was just about close to 1,180 per square foot, but this was selling about close to 1,004. But in terms of booster, why considering of Penang, they have RT stations coming up, okay, and also the location of this area, close to the mall, hospitals, okay. So it was given by 5 stars. Supply and demand is 3.3, as we know. Okay, Penang is not as happening as like KL or JB for a lot of project launch. Hence, there's a limit, not to say limited, but it's few supply lah. Okay, MRO is just one because basically to actually break even or anything, they actually make you to sign an Airbnb. So basically this whole unit, her whole domain is going to be Airbnb. The cash flow is B2, okay, considering we just whole unit, okay. USP just 2, return of capital gain is 3, cash flow is just 3 because is the rebates structures was just 10%, okay. So multiple rental options, because considering this is going to just be Airbnb, so it's hard for you to dispose to local for those who are going to own stay lah, even though you have LT stations near to it lah. Okay, hence the capital gain rating is 2.6, cash flow rating is 2.7. Next, we have is the other one by the same developers in the other, I would say, master plan, okay, which is called Lighthouse. People will say, next slide, people will say this is opposite E-Gate lah. So for those Penang night, they will probably know where E-Gate is, okay. So this is actually
just to
close
share a little bit, right? Just to add a little bit on top of Alvin's point, right? If you look at the rating tadi, right? So we give it a very, in a way, below 3, right? Capital gain, also below 3 cash flow POV. Okay? Why? At 1,400 ringgit per square foot, it is already very high if you compare to any parts of the other tier 1 dekat Penang. 1,400 tu jarang orang nak bayar. Okay? If you compare to even, for example, like Johor, just now CIQ ataupun RTS, right? As of today, if you look at the number of transactions for Johor, baru in general, above 1,000 per square foot, is less than 0.5%. It's not even 1%, guys. It's less than 0.5% today of transaction happening in sub-sale market. It's above 1,000 per square foot for Johor Bahru. It's also less than 1% of transaction today in Penang going above 1,400 ringgit per square foot. So at 1,004, it's very hard in our POV to go and make money. Okay. Now, when you compare what we buy in Johor, for example, when people are paying 800 ringgit, we're not paying 800 ringgit, we're not buying nearby CIQ, but we are buying 5 minutes away, we are paying 400 ringgit per square foot. We are getting 10% rental returns. Right? We buy the other parts of Johor, we pay 350 ringgit per square foot. Right? So this one in Penang, 1,004. Our first project in Penang, we are buying at below 450 ringgit per square foot, guys. Penang Island, also tier 1. So you can understand now why we are quite kedekut to give high rating for a lot of project, because there's a lot of project which in our POV as of today, when you compare to the sub-sale transaction, is too high. At least as of today. Maybe 5 years from now, 1,400 ringgit per square foot will be a norm for Penang Island. But for us paying 450, right, in another tier 1 of Penang, we think it's a safer bet lah. Okay? Understand guys? We don't just simply suka-suka give developments 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. In fact, I get a lot of call from developer, why you only rate my development 1 star ataupun 2 star? We have to explain. Okay? And we're buying Penang Island. It's not even mainland. Penang Island at 450 per square foot. Cheapest in the last 10 years in the whole of Penang Island for a condo. Okay? Sorry, Albi. Continue.
Okay, which is actually quite kind of true. Yes, we bought it in 2025. Okay, so the next slide is Lighthouse. Okay, so this one is actually opposite EG
I think people tak percaya kita beli 450 per square foot in 2025. Maybe they want to say 2005.
Yes,
Yeah.
probably.
No. We bought in 2025, guys. Right? Like I said, go look at the other parts of tier 1 dekat Penang. So we cannot reveal the area. Because the area has got very low supply. But it's tier 1 in Penang, also a fellow tier 1, and we paid 450 per square foot in Penang in 2025, not 2005, not 2015, right? It's 2025. No joke. We even show you the photo of the unit renting at 3,009. Okay.
Okay, so you guys want to know which one? Okay, just wait for me to continue from the slide first. Okay, so we have Lighthouse. Okay, this one is actually opposite E-Gate lah. So there is by the similar developer that I presented just now. The only differences is this one is more on own stay, hence it's more local. Size is bigger. If let's say you know about Gelugo area, people will say this is like old money area. And in fact, the Light Collection series actually, when I go with the search of their transacted prices, so kind of surprised, even though they have completed close to at least 8 to 10 years from now, the price is kind of still high, about close to 1,000-ish per square foot for all across all the Light Collection series lah. Hence, I guess why this is people will say, hey, you buy at this area, the prices is kind of okay. People will buy for own stay because of the size, okay? But then Lighthouse is a bit special because the size today launched was actually kind of smaller, because basically their size of the area is about close to 1,000 square feet, about for 2-bedder. But then they launched some smaller series because, you know, nowadays people, they prefer smaller sizes, okay? So this size is about 732 square feet, 2 bed, 2 bath, and then we have 1,000 square feet lah. So this is the basically the details. Next slide. We have is actually the marketing point of view lah. So this is actually a master plan township. If you guys know, this is actually by a main by IGEM actually. For the master plan township, they actually will have the mall. The convention center actually started to operate it lah. This is a strategic locations. This is actually near to our bridge, Penang Bridge lah. And then they have future RT station as well. Okay, next slide is the net per square foot for this Lighthouse was selling about close to 1,060 per square foot. But if you look at C, the new and old of the areas actually doesn't differ too much. The newest, we have Waterside Resident completed in 2020. Then we have the Light Point series lah, or the Light Collection series. Okay, there are some actually transacted kind of higher prices, but of course the size is of bigger lah. It's close to 2,000 each per square feet, and then it was transacted but close to 1,150 per square feet for all the big size series. Hence, I understand why people will say actually Golugo is the old money area. People move from landeds to the condos, but prefer for a bigger size area. And also this is also facing towards the seas lah, for those higher transaction. Okay, hence the rental why we have the latest completed, which is called Mezo. They are 2 bed 2 bath. Okay, is rented about 4,002 to 4,005. Okay, the 3 bedroom about 5,005 to 6,000. So the Waterside Residence, okay, is 2 bed 2 bath. It's about 2,005 to 3,000. The 3 bed 3 bath of 3,005 to 4,000. So if looking at the mortgage, if you just purely comparing about the layout, not the size, okay. So for today, this one is actually kind of a bit not kind of bit like seems positive if you're not comparing the size, because if 2 bedder your mortgage is about close to 3,400, but then if you look at Mezzo, you can rent about 4,002. But in fact, this size actually is Mezzo 2 bedder size. Okay, so your 2 bedder is close to the 3 bedders, thousands each square feet size. So if let's say you people will prefer for like more own stay, they need a bigger space, maybe they will go with the Mezzo size. So this is why it understand and explain why when you go for the 3 bedders of this lighthouse series, it's actually close to 4,000. So which is the size is kind of similar to the Mezzo 2 bedder size. Hence is explain why. If let's say you comparing just layout, I would say, the cash flow sounds good. But if, let's say you're comparing the series of this lighthouse is made for own stays, okay, maybe people will actually, you are just going to be just break even for being the size, not the layout. Okay, hence this is about lighthouse. We move to the star rating. Next slide. Hence this explains why. Okay, the price for this is about 2.6. It's actually close to the area median. The booster I will just give 5 because they have the mall, they have the master plan, they have LRT stations. Supply and demand, I would say around this Golugo area, actually there's not much of supply and demand. They actually have the light water residents coming out by HM. They also have Keepers, which is the Airbnb series for the same developers. Then we have multiple rental option. I think this is kind of okay. They will do well for their whole unit rental or for whole unit rental or even room rental. Okay, cash flow I will give 4% considering the one that I presented just now. USP 3, return of capital gain is 3, cash flow is also 3 lah. Because their package for this one is still 10%, which is actually, if you know Penang markets, most of the time they don't give any extra rebates. Their standard rebates is like, their standard rebate is like 8%, 5%, or 7%. Okay. Those good one, then they give you 0 down, which is 10% rebate. This explains why the return of capital gain and cash flow is just 3 only. Okay, multiple and rental, the MEO, which is the exit options, 3.5. The capital gain is 3.5, the cash flow is 3.8 lah. Okay, next slide is the one actually we bought. Okay, so people are asking where is the 450 per square feet in Penang Islands, which is actually true. We have presented our rented unit just now. Okay, why we actually place our Farah, okay, in Penang for 5-star, because we actually bought this at 450 per square foot. Okay, boosters why we actually consider the locations. Okay, supply demand, actually no new supply in the areas. Multi-rental option, as we know, Penang, we cannot do Airbnb, but this area is kind of special. They have one international school, hence there's actually a lot of I would say expatriate families staying here. Okay, those who actually visited there would know. Okay, this is just walking distance to the international school. The cash flow is just 3. Okay, considering the area, we're just covering that, but I think the unit that was rented at 3,009 will make a positive cash flow. Okay, USP is 4%. Return on capital gain is 5. Because those who actually bought it can get a kind of good prices, because we're just buying at 450 per square foot only lah. Okay, So hence we summarize our capital gain rating as 4.17, the cash flow rating at 3.25. So if you know Penang, we buy 450 per square foot, it's just purely for capital gain because there's nothing else in Penang. Tier 1 will sell at 450 per square foot. Okay. So next one we have is ZZ, okay, Penang. This is the other side of Penang. It's kind of interesting. So for those who actually know, we soon will launch another property tour lah, okay, in Penang. So you guys can actually register if you guys are interested. This one is actually in a special area, okay, hot area in Penang today lah. It's a tier 2 area, okay, actually located in Bayan Lepas. This price, I would say, is a luxury product segment. Hence, it's explained why the price is actually a 3, not as good, like, comparing to Farah at 5. So this is as price at 3. Rental Booster is kind of good because they have similar concept like what I presented for Lighthouse. It's going to be a master plan by a well-known developer in Penang, and also it have LRT station as well. So this master plan will come out with offices, retail, mall, and also a bit of medical center. Okay. So supply and demand, I would give it 4 because in this tier 2 area, actually quite a number of supplies in a line lah, okay, coming out, okay. Multiple rental options, will be whole unit, okay. Cash flow is 3, USP will be 5 because considering the size, the specification of this unit, okay, it's kind of a luxury segment. So actually when we visited, actually quite a number of people choose for owns there as well because of the sizing, specifications, the facilities being provided, okay, is different level, I would say, in this tier 2 area. Return of capital gains, considering the rebates that we have gotten, is 5%, the cash flow is just 2, okay? Hence, we summarize our capital gain rating as 4.32, the cash flow rating is 3.6 lah. So you guys can see across Penang, most of the cash flow is at like, I would say, quite a okay lah, okay? We know lah, Penang is more on capital gains, the cash flow is just, I would say, at that level lah, okay? Not to say kind of comparable to JB or even KL, okay? So next one we have is actually the KL area. So this is one of the most hot selling, I would say, last time. Okay, we don't compare all this KLCC that's 2,000 each per square foot. We take an entry level lah. Okay, we have Skyline Embassy in Ampang. Next one is the details of this. This was kind of hot. Last time they even put up booth in JB to sell to all Singaporeans. So I'm kind of aware all the Singaporean or the Johor actually know where Skyline Embassy Ampang is lah. Okay, this is the details of it. This is actually located in Jalan Ampang. I will not say the KLCC lah, not the walking distance lah. Okay, the other side of Jalan Ampang. Okay, next slide is the details of what is it about from the marketing point of view. That's like they'll say this is prime locations. For those who are not familiar with KLCC, they'll think, oh, this is actually KLCC because this is located in Jalan Ampang. But like I say, this is not walking distance to the Twins Tower lah, okay? This is a freehold. They have excellent connectivities, maximum rental options because they have dual key options. Then they have also mall offices coming up. Okay, next slide is the investment verdict. So for those who actually know, this is currently like about 1,250, close to 1,003 per square foot already. Last time, there's some people who actually get lower than this. But in terms of this median of the area of this Jalan Ampang west side, which is not to the KLCC side. So we're just talking about this Ampang area. It's about 1,004 per square foot. So rental, we have the nearest one comparable reason, which is Pavilion Embassy lah. Okay, so we have different type of mortgage aligned with depending on the size that you want. But basically, you can see actually most of it, you actually will make kind of good cash flow from this itself. Next one, we have the 8th property filter for Skyline Embassies. This is explain why the price is 4 because it's actually below the area median. Okay, the boosters 5 considering the master plan, the area, LRT integrated with it. Supply and demand, unfortunately, there's a lot of supplies coming up in KLCCs or even Jalan Ampang itself lah. Okay, multiple rental options, you know lah, in this area you can do Airbnb, you have LRT station, definitely you can do whole unit, you also can do co-living for it. So cash flow wise is positive. Hence explain why it's 4-star. USP I would say is 3-star kind standard for this, but of course there's a lot of in KLCC that's kind of very fancy. This is why I only give it 3-star lah. Okay, return on capital gain is 3-star, cash flow is 4-star. Okay, the final rating for this is 3.67. The cash flow is close to 4. Okay, next one is the Bamboo Hill. Okay, very familiar with this area. Okay, next slide. This is area which is close to Jalan Ipoh. This is by a well-known developer called UA lah. So this is the details of it. Next slide. Okay, so what's the marketing point of view lah? There will be a master plan coming out. So I think this will be something similar with the commune living for elderly co-living in Cheras by UOA. They're going to do something similar over here lah. They have signed a MOU also. This is and also for those who know lah, Bamboo Hill for makan eateries, like, so they have established commercial area. For the developer, it's kind of smart. They build out the commercial area first, so people will know where is this. So when they launched the residential tower, right, everyone's going crazy about it. Then some people even regretted they did not bought at the first launch prices. And currently they have the link bridge to MRT 2 lah. The link bridge is actually already built. Okay, not those say only I will build the link bridge, but the link bridge not there. But this one, the link bridge is already there. Okay, so next slide is the details of it. So currently it's about close to 670 per square foot or even 700 per square foot lah. There's no new transacted in the area. Okay, there's basically only old lah. All the new condos in just Jalan Ipoh, there's no transaction as for now. Okay, old is for transacted close to 590 per square foot. The rental we have is the nearest was probably the Pano. The studio is 1,007 to 2,000. Two bedder is 2,004 to 2,006. So there are three bidders, it's about 2,008 to 3,000. So actually is consider break even for the cash flow, or some is actually positive, especially for the small sizes. So next slide is the 8 property filter. Price wise, I would say it's just so-so for the area. Okay, it's kind of a bit high. If you see, there's actually no new transacted in the area. Boosters wise, I give this actually it should be 5-star with the diamond. Okay, supply and demand 3.5. If you look at the whole, if you consider cross to the Segambut, or even you cross the Kepong area, because this is Jalan Ipoh, the supply is kind of a lot. So there's a 3.5. Multiple rental options is 3. Consider co-living and also home rental. Cash flow is 5 because of some positive. Okay. USPs, it should be 3. Return of capital gain is 3. The return on cash flow is 4 because the cash flow is kind of good. So final rating for this is 3.25 and the cash flow rating is 3.8. Okay. So that's about Bamboo Hill. The last one actually we have is kind of special. So this one is the project we have is called AB. It's located in Bukit Bintang. I would say location is kind of strategic because it was sandwiched in between TRX and also Pavilion, which is the Bukit Bintang area lah. So you just either walk to the left to the TRX MRT station entrance, to the right which is actually towards the Pavilion area. So as you guys know, it's TRX today is actually kind of hot. Regardless of Airbnb or being a financial hub lah. Okay, we are buying actually at a kind of good price. Okay, about 1,000. Our first initial price about 1,002, close to 1,002 per square foot. Okay, which you can never find this price anymore in the market today in this area lah. Okay, so the booster consider financial hub. For this one, we didn't really consider financial has been matured. We just consider the I would say the master plan is completed but not matured yet. So actually have few potential for the master plan. I mean for this financial hub still for being matured lah. Okay, for all the officers going to come out and which is going to provide more working opportunity in the area. This is why it has the MRT spill effect towards the Velocity or Cheras area lah, because can't really afford to stay here, right? So they will stay somewhere along the MRT line 1. Okay, supply and demand is 3.7. Actually quite a number of we have in Bukit Bintang, even KLCC area. Multiple rental options, Airbnb, whole units, there's no issue. Cash flow is 4. USP is 4. Return on capital gain and cash flow is 5 and 4 because actually we bought about close to 30% below the area market. Okay, hence it's explain why the capital gain is actually kind of high for this one. So the final rating for this capital gain is 4.3. The cash flow is 4.2. Okay, so I think that's all from our 8 property filter for today. It's just a kickstart for our 2026 for all the foreign buyers and also local buyers in case you guys want to buy. But if you guys have any questions or any property you guys wanted to review, you guys can just scan the QR code and just fill in the form for us. Okay. I think that's all. Maybe we can call along all the panelists on board, okay, to
Let's go.
kickstart our 2026. I guess there's plenty of Q&A, especially those who are interested about what I actually bought in Penang or JB lah, okay.
By the way, what we bought, guys, we cannot reveal the actual name. And the reason why we can't reveal the actual name because the public price point is different compared to the price point that we buy. So only for clients will be able to go and know which project exactly. So names like, for example, like Diana or Abby or Farah don't exist from a real world property POV lah. But it is an actual property. It's just that it's going to be a code name. Because we tell you it's 450 per square foot, you don't get to buy it 450 per square foot. Later you tell us we scam. Right? So I apologize that we didn't clarify this earlier. But you know, we can't lah. We sign NDA. We cannot reveal to the public. All right? Because otherwise you will know that we are buying at 50, 60, 70% discount. So yeah, it's not going to be good lah kalau you already bought at 800 ringgit per square foot only to find out that we are buying today at 450 per square foot. So it's not good. So the developer doesn't want any problem. Made us sign NDA, so we can't reveal unless you sign the document to become a FACAP client. Okay? Sorry guys. Lupa nak clarify. Right?
Alright, thank you. Thank you.
Lama tak jumpa Sean ni.
Apa khabar semua?
I see.
Okay.
So Sean, which market for you in 2026? Irrespective of the deal thing, so what market would you go for? Penang, JB, or KL? So I immediately put you on the spot lah, you know, because you guys probably gonna ask, you know, want to follow Sifu mah. So I just tanya terus.
Sifu. I personally am in KL already, in JB already. My landed house there, wow, price like my tenant is giving crazy prices to buy my unit. But don't want to sell for what?
Not yet. The bull hasn't reached its peak. It's nowhere near.
Yeah lah. So
Yeah.
now it's the Penang one, and the latest one that you all just got in. I was there before you guys were in. So so the master plan one. So in terms of material wise, specs wise, it's a very own stay product when they developed it. But then you guys came in at that price, then suddenly like, So I now got not enough declared income to go and buy lah. So that's the problem.
Okay. You're talking about ZZ, yeah?
Yeah, ZZ lah.
Yeah, ZZ spec is very high lah, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So that one, I cannot say too much, but I've been there several times. Solid, very solid.
I never had the team describe the property as wangi, you know. I mean, we have reviewed probably 100 properties, right? I've never seen them describe the property as wangi.
You all went to the first phase or not?
First phase, right?
No, that's
This is the first phase.
No. There's one more block before that.
Yeah.
So Penang lah. 2026. 2026 is going to be Penang lah.
So I think a better question is I was surprised with whatever branded residence theory that we were debating last year. So like now this show becomes like a preview of what's gonna happen. 1 year before that we debated Airbnb shit, right?
Yep.
The regulations, the whatever, then all now taking place. Oh, that one solid like you said, we forecasted. We merely just debated.
If you guys are wondering, because there's a lot of first time guys here. Last year we made prediction that there will be Airbnb clamping, right? Similar to what has happened in Penang, that will happen in KL, that will happen in Selangor, potentially even Johor. right? So a couple of months after we start talking about it, it happened, right? It basically happened. So I think that's what basically Sean is saying. So yeah. I think we've been quite transparent in terms of discussing our POV all the while. We've never been shy. It pisses off a lot of agents, but ultimately what we want to, ensure is that we have a proper property market whereby the buyers are educated, they are fully aware what they are buying, and they don't just believe one side of the agent story. Yeah, so kudos, man. I think you've been a very key. I don't recall any DOG or Battle Royale that you don't highlight Airbnb or Airbnb. Anything with Airbnb should make money, so that's what Sean's favorite statement, right? So yeah, you put everything Airbnb should make money,
Yeah
right?
lah.
So yeah.
Then the second thing after that, the next wave of topic is branded residence,
Yeah.
right? So branded residence, I think now we can see the latest one in Mont Kiara. They call it Mont Kiara. Actually, it's Dutamas lah, right? So, but what took place is Penang's. Penang's branded residences is crazier than KL's one. The Hyatt, the sub-sale is 2,006 per square feet. So when I go around, like, it's the old bird in the industrial area, sometimes you see like, still, what? 2,000? What? KL also don't get this kind of price, which is, that's why Penang, it's a very different ballgame altogether, but your slide summarized it very well, which is the capital appreciation game is crazy. People just buy and leave it empty.
Yeah. I mean, the rental above 5,000 ringgit in Penang is non-existent as of today. I would probably argue that less than 0.1%, unless you're talking about super bungalow or super condo, right? So, but most of the unit below 2,000 square foot hardly can see anything above 5,000, unlike in KL, which is actually now a regular equation.
Yep.
Right? Even places like, don't need to talk about Bukit Jalil. OUG can do 5,000. Right? So don't talk about Bukit Jalil. Bukit Jalil is like the star, right? OUG, the poorer cousin, poorer sibling, can do 5,000. So
Bukit Jalil latest is 7.5.
yeah.
Like, wow, I want to move out already. This one.
Move up, man. You know the better property is nearby, right? So
Yeah, lor. But anyway, to me, it's out of three, personally, I would like Johor more in terms of investment, because I just came back last week from Senibong Cove. In terms of terrace house is 2.8 million and sold out one. Then am I the only poor one now? I go see property. The more I see, the more poorer I feel. And the landed residential bungalows, walao, like 4 million, 5 million, no stock, bro. So everything also no stock. Then you think gimmick, but then when you check the banks, you check everything, it's legit. So the louder one is the RTS, but the landed homes around Johor is next level because of the Singapore lah.
yeah.
So
I think because the landed threshold for Johor is still quite low, relatively speaking, right? So it's not that they put a 3 million or 4 million cap for foreigner to go buy something. So for Johor, it's relatively quite low. Mark my words, it's not going to be this low for the next 24 months. They will come down again. Similar.
I think it's a blind spot.
Yeah.
Selangor is 2 million, right?
Selangor is 2 million, which I think is fair. So Johor is a little bit too low. I'm quite happy, man, because we bought landed property for 330,000 last year in Johor, right? So I think our buyers will be quite happy. Unfortunately, we didn't get the bungalow 850,000. Yeah.
Well, you can't get all.
In hindsight, we could have agreed the 1 million price point. Maybe it's time to renegotiate again.
1 million.
Yeah.
Every time I come here, this is the freaking problem. Every time I come here, cannot buy this, cannot buy that because need more money to buy property. Which is okay. So for all newcomers, right? If you are new to this, right, you would think that wow, these people whole day like property no need money, just buy any like sure make money, buy any. But you guys will get used to it lah.
Sell some patik,
Don't
Sean.
want. I made double my party.
That's why I sell lah. Then can buy property already.
Don't want lah. Now I dare not wear it out already. So scared. The price too high.
First world problem.
Okay.
Let's go. Questions. We have a lot, I think, tonight.
All right. Thank you, Faizul, LB, and Zachary for the sharing just now. And also, I welcome Heng and also William to the Q&A session. Okay, so we hope everyone here learned something new and beneficial tonight. Now it's time for us to answer your questions. We're now entering the Q&A session. And again, if you guys ada any question, tolong send dekat Q&A box, okay? All right. Let's go
Guys,
through.
I see got about 40 questions tonight, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of people asking this property can buy or not. We're not going to answer the individual property question because this is clearly not what do I buy session lah, basically, right? We will answer question which is related to the topic tonight, right? So if the question is related to tiering, foreign income, foreign purchaser looking to buy property, how do you do it and all that, we'll answer. But all this, I want to buy Sunway this or this one, good or not? We have a session that we're going to build for that. Do come, but tonight is not going to be the night we answer the question. Because to be honest also, guys, in order for us to give you a proper answer, you need to tell us the property name, the net price you are buying, the size, right, and the price. And we have to go back and do research first. Otherwise, I'm just answering out of my ass, so which is not going to be accurate. So it's not something that you want. Okay.
Also their income, also their sockso,
right. So we are not real estate agent who just tell you, this one cannot buy, or this one can buy, this one can buy, this one cannot buy, right? So we need a lot more information before we can give you a proper advice, similar to you come seeing a doctor. So in order to get the right diagnose, you have to give us the full set of question. Okay, so I apologize. I know we committed to answer all questions. I wasn't expecting people to ask, this one can buy or not, this one can buy or not, this one can buy. Again, tonight is not the session for it. We probably have to do one, right, soon. And do join us when we do that. Yeah.
All right. Let's go through the first question. We have from Ian. Hi Faizul. First of all, thank you for doing this DOG. I really learned a lot. Now I am interested to invest properties with you guys. Can I know how?
You gotta, in order to buy at our price point, you have to become a client. But tonight is not the session for it. So we've got a webinar next week. Do join us. That one you will fully understand the value you're gonna get as a client. What is the unfair advantage you're gonna get, right? So do come next week. Tonight is really about us briefing the difference of states. What's the property market look like? If you have this particular objective, which market you should look at, right? So for example, I think it's very clear. I purposely asked Sean what is his agenda for this year. Our friend clearly has got his cash flow covered. So now he's targeting capital gain, which is why he's keen on Johor and Penang, right? So then the question is that can afford or cannot afford, right? So I think it's quite natural. Even for me at this stage, I no longer look for cash flow. I look for capital gain. I think at the final stage of the game, after you've got your bases covered with cash flow, right, you go for capital gain. I believe if you ask LB, William, or Zach as of today, the primary goal will still be cash flow. At the beginning of the investment journey, to say beginner pun still 5 property jugalah kan, but still beginner lah compared to Sean, right? Who I also don't know lah, maybe dah 30 ke 40 ke.
Tak ada, tak banyak sangat.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I pun tak tahu guys. I pun tak tahu walaupun dia clarify cap, dia tak reveal semua kepada kita. So I don't know how many property that he have bought.
I don't want to be that joker, go and declare got 7 property, then his financing kena his Sarah kena pull back.
Hang on, are you a Sarah recipient?
No lah.
You tak boleh lah bro. You
Yeah.
aduh, tak boleh lah. Too high profile already.
Yeah.
So in the interest of full disclosure, me or Sean is not a Sarah applicant or recipient. Okay, we're not, right? Okay. So yeah.
Funny lah that one.
So do come next week if you are looking to see what you can get benefit of becoming a client. Yeah. The link is already provided.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Kita ada from Fauzi. I'm a Malaysian based in Dubai who wants to buy a property for investment. I see there are quite a few new KLCC projects walking to KLCC, which interests me. These units able to fetch high rental yield and great positive cash flow with a guaranteed rental return. The question is, does Far Capital have better properties than these to offer?
I think anyone can say shit, right? So the average reality, if you look at the KLCC portfolio, and that was the data provided by the Age, is actually 4.5%. Right? You're talking about long-term rental, right? So I believe that a lot of this high rental, guaranteed rental are actually rental based on GRR, which means they're gonna rent your unit on a daily basis, similar to like an Airbnb or a hotel, right? All that works when there's two things going for you. Number one, you got tiba-tiba belum keluar, right? Right. You got lower supply. So that means you got very little competition. And KLCC, do you think oversupply ke undersupply when it comes to small unit going for short stay? What do you guys think, guys? Right? Is there a lot of supply targeting Airbnb and short stay in KLCC or undersupply? Right? Is a confirmed oversupply. Go and watch Better Royal KLCC. I think LB has presented the number before. I think just from a new upcoming studio units alone, right? In the next 5 years completing 7,000 or 8,000 units, LB? 10,000.
10,000, close to 10,000, because there's a lot of options of dual key also.
Correct. So dulu, the small units does very well in KLCC because if you look from a number of supply, it's only 2,000-ish in the last 10 years, right? So things are okay. But in the next 5 years, that supply will not go up by double, not triple, but 5 times. Right? We're not that confident, guys. Long story short. Right? So again, anyone can say anything, anyone can promise anything, but the reality here is that the official rental yield for KLCC is only 4.5%. Right? Our worst performing property as of today, the Far-Cap portfolio in the last 24 months, is actually a KLCC property, 6.1% long-term rental. That's the worst. Okay, that's the worst.
So just sorry. You want to go ahead?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think when you talk about quality, like do you have better options compared to what you find, right? I think that question itself is also flawed. Better in terms of what? Distance, quality, branding, design, whatever. But so that ties back to the intention of what you're buying. If it's for investment, like you buy the closest one with the highest yield, that will be the objective. So highest yield means a lower price compared to others and the rental rates higher than others. That I think that is the more smarter question to ask instead of which one is better.
Yeah.
Because better, agents all know your guys want better. That's why all the sales pitch are engineered to kind of make you feel good. Oh, you worry no tenant, never mind, we guarantee 3 years tenant. Or you worry your installment cannot cover, never mind, we guarantee that one can cover. Then we all just price in everything lah. And yeah lah, like just now we spoke about it, the early half of the year, we were just smacking agents left, right, center about all these kind of things, man. But it's a long video lah, like.
Yeah. Be careful, be mindful. There's a lot of supply in KLCC. Agents can promise you anything, sky and the moon, but after you buy, well, they've gotten their commission, and after that, it's still your loan, it's still your unit, right? So just be mindful. We actually put in, for example, recommendation if you want to buy KLCC, what are the things to look for. But for that, you got to watch the Better Royal KLCC. 2-hour video, you will fully understand what to buy, what to avoid in KLCC. We reviewed everything, bro. I'll go and watch it.
All right. Next, we have a question from Joshua. As a foreigner buying Malaysia's property, there is minimum purchase of 1 million. How do you overcome the requirements for 30% down payment for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, etc. property purchases? Let's say for 1 million property, it is 300,000 each purchase.
Very simple. Buy at minimum 30% discount. You have a 30% down payment. If you can get 30% discount, you're no longer required to pay a down payment, provided the valuation can match. Now you know, right? Why it's very common to hear clients of our capital own 5 property, 6 property. They don't really use a lot of money, man. Right? They don't really use a lot of money because why? Let's say, for example, like the Penang one that we're buying is already almost 30% discount. 20% discount. So basically, on 30% down payment, you only have to, I think, pay 3% or 4%. I pun tak ingat lah. Right? The KLCC property we bought at close to 50% discount. The property we bought in Bukit Bintang, walkable to TRX AB, we bought at 50% discount. So even on 30% down payment, you can still get to a 200,000 cash out. Right? And number one. Number two here is that, ironically, a lot of our non-Malaysian clients are actually able to buy below the 1 million threshold because, while officially you pay on paper 1.5 million, but after 50% discount, you're actually buying at 750. So you're actually not paying 1 million to buy a property. You are paying a very similar price point to a local. One thing that we love, what I think that I'm proud to be able to go and do here is that I can say today that my non-Malaysian client buy cheaper compared to most local Malaysian on the same project. Right? So it's something that I'm very proud of to be able to go and do. Right? So our non-Bumi clients buy cheaper compared to most Malay Bumi Putra because of the additional discount. Our non-Malaysian are buying cheaper compared to most Malaysia Bumi Putra because of our additional discount. Right? So and as a result, I think we are probably the first, like a group purchase successfully across multiple portfolio. We have clients based in Singapore buying multiple properties and actually make positive cash flow. It's unheard of in the last 10 years. Majority of the story, for example, if you're a Singaporean buying Malaysia property, all don't have happy ending, all scam one. Right? All lose money, all negative cash flow, right? Property today, if they were to sell, they sell the loss. Already lost from a currency point of view, property value also lost. And then you have exactly a different scenario for far capital clients, whereby when they bought the property at Bukit Bintang at 50% discount, the currency was 3.35. Today it's 3.15. So not only they bought the property, don't pay a single cent, made a few 100,000 cash out, right? And on top of that, today, the ringgit has actually strengthened. So triple whammy, 3 times. So yeah, that's what you get when you have unfair advantage. So it's not that difficult to buy below 1 million, and it's not that difficult to buy 0 down payment, especially if you're actually working out of Singapore. You have to remember, Malaysia banks love Singaporeans. For Singaporeans, Malaysia is the only country you can buy using no capital. You have no privilege like this in Australia or New Zealand or UK, no way. You can't even do that in Singapore. So the Malaysia banks love you more than the Singapore banks. Singapore, you actually have to put money, guys. Betul tak? Right? In Malaysia, you literally tak perlu pakai duit. I've got client buy 2 property, Bukit Bintang, cash out 1 million ringgit. Took out 300,000 Sing. Bring to Singapore. Right? Only in Malaysia. So yeah, Malaysians love you more than the Singapore government when you want to buy a property in Malaysia. For now, yeah, for now, eh. But during the peak of the property buran, I can tell you the clamping down will happen, and then, you're no longer going to be able to go by zero down. For now, you can still do that.
All right. So we have a follow-up question also from Joshua. As a foreigner to Malaysia, I often heard that there are Malaysians or people with 5 to 30 properties in their portfolio. How does someone build up a property portfolio of more than 5 properties while having to overcome these huge 30% down payments? Even for locals, the third property onwards, the max LTV is 70% only.
Yeah, similar answer. You buy at 30% discount onwards. Right? Look, you can try to do it on your own. You can join a system like Fakap. It's as simple as that. So far, I think the feedback that I've gotten from my client is that I tried 2 years after joining your webinar. I tried to find on my own. Couldn't find any that I can buy after 70% financing. I can buy zero run. Tak boleh. Become a Fakap player within 1 year, got 3 options. Right? It's like you queuing for a Rolex or Patek Aquanaut, tak pernah dapat, cari sendiri, and then suddenly, you know the right person, suddenly you got offered multiple models in a year. Similar. Right? Join the dark side. Long story short. Yeah.
All right, next question we have from Priscilla. Is it smarter to hold property instead of cash or stocks during this time?
I think the philosophy at Far Capital is very different, sis. Because you're talking about capital allocation, right? So you got, let's say, 100,000, then you want to allocate the capital to this. What makes us different here is that we are literally telling you, don't use money to buy property, sister. Use money to go buy watch, gold, everything else. Just buy everything else. Just don't use money to buy property. Pelik tak for us? Right? So for me and Sean, the problem is always going to be, it's not to use money to go buy property, but we have to increase our income, hence pay more taxes in order to get more loan. So that's our problem. It's not because we need to use down payment to go buy property. So that's most of the time our problem. Then the problem with you increasing your taxes here is that from a government punya POV, they assume your income will continue to go up. So you cannot declare 500,000 this year, then next year declare 100,000 because business is bad. You akan kena investigate for the last 7 years. You mampus macam tu je. Right? So therefore, that's the consideration for people like me and Sean, which are business owner. But for majority of the employees out there who's doing 9 to 5, right? That's your greatest advantage, right? You don't have fluctuation of income, right? Your income should go up steadily, even by a little bit every single year. And as long as your property is tenanted, you actually can buy a limited property, no capital, right? So I tell people all the time, my cash, I don't use to go buy property. My cash, I go use to buy watches. I buy precious metal. Even then, I buy in watches. So, for example, I have no idea how to buy platinum, so I go buy platinum watches. Right? I don't like to buy physical gold, so I buy gold watches. Right? So, it's all about capital allocation. And the greatest thing about Malaysia property, whether you are Malaysian or Singapore, you don't really need capital to go and buy it. All you need is a job. If you have a job, You can get loan. If you can get loan, you can buy property little to no capital, especially as a far cap player.
So the one-liner is buy properties using credit.
Yes.
Invest in everything else with your capital.
Yeah. Plus, if you recall the first part of this presentation, we mentioned that globally speaking, we will enter a low interest rate environment because, again, Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rate because Trump has got 32 trillion worth of debt to refinance the next couple of years. So the financing alone at 4% interest rate for US is 1 trillion every year. So he needs to cut it down to 1%. All right, so you can save that. Number two, we've got this global uncertainty and whatnot. So everyone will follow US to actually cut interest rate. So today, for Malaysia, interest rate about 3.5, 3.7. Most likely, when everything is said and done in the next 1 to 2 years, is going to be average 3.2, 3%. Singapore, same. It's going to be below 3%. So debt is so cheap. And when you can get rental of 7%, you confirm positive cash flow already, sis. Right? So the most extreme example at Far Capital here is that you buy property, take $500,000 cash out, and it's not negative cash flow. Right? The next deal we are negotiating is even more crazy. I'm negotiating 2 deals. Okay? 2 deals as of today. Neither of it is in KL. But each of them cash out 1 unit, 1 million. Whew. So the game I'm playing here is that I'm probably going to buy that and then go buy a cash property in Jakarta. Because why? In Jakarta, I can get long-term rental yield 10% comfortably. I also think rupiah is going to weaken for the next 1 to 2 years. So not only I buy something at a discount because high-rise there tak laku, so I get to buy the discount. On top of that, I buy 20% cheaper because currency drop. On top of that, I can still get 10% return. Right? So is capital allocation. Debt for property will be extremely cheap for the next 2 years. Go do shit lah, right? For me, I'm buying watches and some international property.
But
Cash.
just to add on, I think the common debate between stocks and other assets versus property is stocks also 6%, property also 6%. But I think the ultimate comparison is cash on cash return. Let's say you put in 10,000, you make 20%. You are better than Warren Buffett, right? How much only 2,000 a year?
Yeah.
But if you put in 1 million and you take 6%, then all people, oh, also what you need to pay the installment. But we didn't put in any money at all. We still invest stock like everyone else, or gold or whatever lah. So that's the magic that a lot of people missed out. They assume we played like everyone else, which is like 10% plus 8%, then do all the reno, everything. No. But that one cannot be too open lah. So sometimes I just let them win lah.
Yeah. It's okay. You want to pay cash?
Yeah, you
Want to spend 50, 100? Go ahead. No problem.
Yeah. You know how the developer roll, right?
Yeah. No problem.
So I think that's the biggest misconception that a lot of people in the market have. It's not this or that, is both.
As long as you have a job, property, if you ask me, it's stupid to not buy it because you're not putting a single cent. You're getting paid to buy one. You're gonna be paid every month when you buy the right property. But again, you buy right property, right price, right rental strategy, you can get those kind of outcome. Otherwise, though, you just buy something else.
Right?
All right. So next we have a question from Al-Kafi Darwin and also Zakwan. So the question is, any good deals coming in the pipelines for LTV 70 with foreign income friendly at JB? And can we still buy a property at zero capital with 70% LTV?
Johor, don't know yet. We are negotiating a few whereby you can buy zero down, right? Definitely for 70% LTV, not a problem. Foreign income, not sure. I don't think so, to be honest, because it's a less than 300,000 ringgit property. So this one local Malaysian only. So unfortunately lah. But confirm 70% LTV friendly. Yeah, and it's a completed property. So yeah, that's very, very, very close. I think we should be able to go rapid before Chinese New Year launch. And this is a branded residence, by the way. Not your Chaplang Airbnb, some local brand. This is a proper branded residence, international branded residence. 500 ringgit per square foot saja, murah. 300,000 ringgit. Well, Far Capital special deal. Yeah.
Right. So next we have a question from Idris. If I buy now and prices drop further, how do I protect myself from feeling like an idiot?
If you use 8 property filter, it's almost impossible for you to lose money. Right? So the question is that, what is your mechanism when you buy a property? Look, when you buy anything, right, whether it's stocks or watches or property, right? So the mechanism here is that, how do you determine what's the right entry price, right? So the A property filter allows you to, in a way, identify what's the safest price to go and buy. Long story short, if you have a 4-star, it's very unlikely for you to be able to go and buy lower. Right? Even for me as a bulk purchaser, I have no opportunity to enter any development whereby rating is 4-star. Because it's going to be fully sold before it becomes a problem. It goes to me. Right? Why do we get all of this bulk property today? Because last time it was 1-star, 2-star, crazy overpriced. Today it's available at 50% discount. But if they give the 50% discount 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this property would have been fully sold. Okay? So that's answer number 1 lah, 8 property filter. Answer number 2, shortcut, just join to become a client lah. Few hundred ringgit deposit next week. So far, I don't think we have entered any development and someone is able to go and buy cheaper. Right? And our track record here is that last year we bought the cheapest property in Perak. We bought the cheapest property in Penang in the last 10 years, Penang Island. Cheapest property in Perak in the last 10 years. Right? We bought the cheapest property in Bukit Jelutong in the last 10-15 years. So every time we go, we don't buy the cheapest in that development, we buy the cheapest in the area in the last 10 years. Right? Look, Zakri and LB is part of our research team. They are actually master holder, and degree holder for real estate. So from a valuation point of view, in a way, I think we've got our numbers to be quite correct. So therefore, if we enter this particular price point, it's almost impossible for the next guy to go and buy. And again, guys, the only reason why we can get our price is because we buy 50 units. We're not buying one. That's how we can get our 20, 30, 50% discount. What developer want to give us at the price point of 10 years cheapest in Penang? Penang Island, there's no property that was sold newly launched at below 500 ringgit per square foot in the last 10 years. Anyone from Penang can help me verify this. Unless it's a rumah mampu milik for Penang, there's no luxury condo you can buy below 500 ringgit per square foot in Penang in the last 10 years. Tak ada.
There's no affordable housing in Penang that will price at this price today also.
Yeah. The only reason why we can get it, because number 1, we identify an opportunity, right? And number 2, we also buying a minimum 30 to 50 units. So as usual, when you buy 50 units, it's gonna be at a different price point, right? So like I said, use 8 filter is very safe. If you want to use 8 filter plus becoming a FACAP client, then it's almost impossible for anyone to buy cheaper. The only time you buy cheaper is from lelong. But cheaper tanpa modal tak mungkin. Tak ada. No one. Right? In the last 5 years, no one has been able to go and buy cheaper than us.
All right, next we have from Zheng Yekam. When you guys select all this property, is there consideration of whether this property developer is good, their workmanship, etc., or doesn't it matter? Beside the 8 property filter, or unless within the 8 property filter, does consider these matters? Want to understand from investment POV.
We used to not calculate this because it doesn't matter under the 7 criteria, but now under the 8 property filter is actually part of our USP. So we realized that those days when we used 7 criteria, if you have followed us for many years, right? We had 7 criteria. We never put this as part of this. So today is part of our USP. So if the property developer has got excellent workmanship, number 1, above average workmanship, excellent township development track record is part of the USP. Today we do put. Back then tak ada. Also, as of today, I would say 60 to 70% of property that we buy, we actually buy completed property. So you actually get to see exactly what you are buying, which is why we know the property wangi. Because we went and see the property. So wangi is not part of the USP, but the team is quite visibly impressed with the level of cleanliness. Not the upkeep of the property is it's not something that we regularly see, and we see a lot of properties. So when the team report back, very impressed with the workmanship, very impressed with the upkeep, so wangi, then I know this is already like escort level kind of like quality, but not at escort level price point. So the developer made a mistake, right, to not work with a branded international hotel operator or branded name for their property, because the moment they do it, that property went from 700 ringgit per square foot should be at least 1,001, 1,002. Because today, local Airbnb pun asking 1,004 dekat Penang. This one, spec very high, quality there, layout great, location fantastic. But their naivety and stupidity is our opportunity. And by the way, last year we spoke a lot about branded residents, right? Especially in oversupply area. And today we are seeing a lot of this area that has got a lot of supply, all now begin to have branded residents from Singapore lah, from China lah, from Dubai, all coming to be put because they wanted to differentiate. So property developers are actually coming to shows like this, right? And taking feedback. Because we're not here to attack the project. We're here to make it better, see?
But just to add on to her concerns, right? But sometimes property quality, the understanding of that word is also tiered. Means, how do you determine a property is good or bad? I assume for everyone, 90% of the buyers is, oh, this one got leaking, this one got hairline crack, that's why the property is poor quality. Actually, in my opinion, it's way more than that lah. Because if you talk about leakages and cracks here and there, imperfection in the door handle here and there, right? Everywhere also got one. 5-star hotel also got one. Just that the responsiveness and the accountability of the developer, that is more important, right? With a crooked wall, it will not affect the rental rates one. Unfortunately, with a poor quality material, but the right color coordination, it fetches better rental rates also. So that's why if you want to go a bit deeper on a question, then there's more understanding to be discussed lah.
All right. Next, we have a question from Hafiz. I am Malaysian, but I earn in Sing dollar. In summary, can you share how this is a golden opportunity for us looking at ringgit is so strong?
Don't worry, ringgit will weaken against Singapore dollar 2026. Mark my words. The reason why ringgit is so strong because our last meeting was in November. Then a lot of things happened during December and January to the point US dollar weaken a little bit, Singapore dollar then follow. We don't have the opportunity to actually increase interest rate or reduce interest rate. So by next meeting, again, Malaysia has got no incentive making ringgit to be this strong. Export gonna hurt, tourism is gonna hurt. Right, so we've got not much incentive to make the ringgit strong. We just need to make it stable. Right, so I can assure you what you see today is temporary. Because why? They only meet every 2 months. Last meeting was actually in November. Next meeting will actually be this month. So this month is going to be the meeting, and I think it's going to be next week. So most likely, there's going to be an opportunity for interest rate actually to go down because, well, inflation is low, employment is good, investment is great, right? So the local economy is doing okay. So we've got room to cut interest rates. So when they cut, all right. So if you are in Singapore, earning Singapore dollar, don't worry too much. It's not gonna go to 3 ringgit. I can assure you. Right? Most likely, at best, it will maintain. Right? But ringgit, Singapore dollar will strengthen a great deal against rupiah this year. Wait and see.
All right. So moving on to the next question we have from Harry. In Johor, is there any property that could provide decent cash out but still provide decent cash flow? Decent as in at least 100k ringgit cash out and at least 1,005 positive cash flow.
Tak ada. You miss out. This is last year. We we've got one more unit lah sekarang ni lah. Tapi, one unit is not like hardly a project lah. That one pun sebab loan reject je. But I would argue kat Johor tak ada, KL akan ada, other states akan ada. KL confirm ada. KL one is about 150,000 cash out, potentially 2 to 3 ribu ringgit positive cash flow.
Alright, moving on to the next question from Dylan. What was the reason for these specific 3 properties, the Farah, AB and Diana, willing to give such good price for far cap?
Because I say please to the developer nicely. Not really lah. Right? So you have to understand the mechanics. Far cap ni is like a black ops now. People don't understand what we do. Right? You go to the forums, you go to the Reddit, none of them understand what we do. And they can only speculate the price point that we are getting because we can't even reveal. So long story short, developer uses us as a way to clear property fast. But in order to clear those property fast, they need to give us massive discount. And they are okay to give us massive discount if we're not marketing it outside of our capital. Faham tak? Right? We only reveal to clients. People like Sean will know how much we are buying, exactly which developer, right? Etc. etc. Right? So they use us every time they need to hit sales target. And our discount is normally 30, 40, 50% because we don't care about your cost. We don't care about how much profit you want to make. We only care about our 8 filter and what is a safe price point for people to go and buy a property. All right? I'm negotiating a deal. I just came back from a trip in an area whereby average property new launch is 900 to 1,003 per square foot. Guess how much I'm trying to buy? 400 ringgit per square foot. He said it's below my cost. Yeah, unfortunately, my client don't care about your cost. Right? So the reason why they are okay because they want fast sales and we do it quietly. I have not revealed one developer name, one development name tonight. Betul tak, guys? I didn't say this developer give me 50% discount. Not even one, guys. Why? I signed NDA. Right? So we don't reveal. Okay? So, and Farah, Abby, Diana is all public listed property developer and they are all top 10, by the way. public listed property developer in Malaysia. Lagilah dia tak mau satu dunia tahu, dia bagi kita 60, 70, 50% discount. Dia tak mau. Buat kerja diam-diam, far capital client je tahu, far capital client, all of you when you become a client also sign DA. You also cannot reveal. When you reveal, there's nothing with the logo of the developer. Right? Nothing. Right? You only see Diana. So you nak pergi report kat forum orang cakap Diana, apa projek ni? Mana ada projek Diana? You scammer. Right? So yeah. So developer, public listed developer especially, have got sales target to meet. Number one. Number two, they need to move units quietly, especially kalau discount dia banyak, sebab they don't want to upset the previous buyer. And who is the largest? Right? The most credible bulk purchaser today in Malaysia is Farcap. Tak percaya, boleh tanya ChatGPT. Even ChatGPT will tell you, and ChatGPT don't lie.
All right. So, we have a follow-up question from Zheng Ye Kam. Want to double check my understanding. Close to no down payment is the part that when you get the property, you need XX% of hand cash, right? But still need to loan from bank and you still need to pay installment, right? Before talk about rental cover, the installment, blah, blah, blah. Also, usually you guys are referring new project or close to complete. Since in Q&A, someone reply FARCAP usually deal with complete or close to complete project.
I tak faham lah soalan you, bro.
Then what's the question?
Yeah.
Okay lah, so I think I kind of get it. Yes, we are buying using banks' money, and banks look at your income statement. So, like Faizul said just now, as long as you have a job, if you don't have a approved or declared income, you cannot play this game. So when like a lot of people say, oh, no need money, so meaning I got no job, I also can buy property, then I can cash out money. No. So we are cashing out the credit that the financial institution is giving us. So you will need to have a job, you will still need to have a rather high income. So just to pull back to reality for some people, they get very high already listening to all the cashback, right? To qualify for, let's say just now cash out 300,000, you still need to have the income to be qualifying for that loan in order to cash out. So ultimately, we still need to work hard so we can get rich faster. It's the same one, but just that this is a shortcut to that lah. Okay, so yeah, I think that is the question that they assume. I assume this person sound very young.
I think the other part of the question is that the money come from where? Because if the property is not completed, other than the down payment, you still have to pay for interest. And I think you still have to cover the, I guess, renovation. Again, brother, we have not been doing this yesterday or last year. We've been doing this for 11 years. So majority of our cap client, the one that we're trying to help improve property ownership, are actually coming from largely M40. Why do I especially highlight this? Because T20 most of the time don't need much help. B40 is going to be assisted by the government. M40 is the one neither here nor there. Not rich enough to go do shit on their own. Government doesn't want to support them because, well, I better support the B40. Okay. So let me tell you to the extent of how I negotiate with property developer. Every single one of our primary market property, 80% of them, if you're looking to buy something completing in 2 to 3 years, I will actually negotiate for early cash out enough to cover your installment until the property is completed. So one of the property we are buying today in KL, cheapest property by the way in KL as of today, 300,000 only for 2-bedroom. When you buy the property, the moment your loan is disbursed, you're going to get an early cash out of 40,000. You only need 15,000 only to cover your installment until the property is completed, but I will get you 40,000 because your total cash out is 100,000. I have negotiated upfront on your behalf so that when I say zero down to buy a property, I mean zero down. So you don't pay any interest costs from your own cash. Renovation also you don't have to pay. In fact, your 3-month installment after your property is completed normally is also part of the projection. We negotiated all of this upfront on your behalf. Look, I can only do that because we've got 30,000 buyers, 30,000 clients. Developers don't give a shit if I'm only representing one. But when I'm negotiating on behalf of 30,000, when we are buying 50 units, 100 units, it's quite easy to negotiate. So long story short, I wouldn't say all our guys, I don't want to misrepresent, don't want to lie, but 80% of our primary market property today have early cash out. So when you become a client, you are going to be assigned a dedicated one person to look after your account. All you have to do is to be honest with this person when you do your one-on-one. Brother, sister, I got no money completely. Faizul last time say, during webinar, I can buy zero down. Show me betul-betul zero down. I don't want to pay shit. So he will tell you what property you can buy. Literally, you don't pay a single cent. Okay? Just be honest. Don't waste time. Okay? You don't waste time. You be honest. Your goal very easy for us. Okay, brother, go buy property A. Don't need to look B and C. This one, all you need capital to go and buy. Okay? Look, you become a client so that you can get additional advantage, ma? Shortcut, right? So just be honest with what you want, and then we go and find what suits you. And the moment we can find, say, brother, go buy property A. This one is perfect for you. Okay? ZA?
All right. So next we have a question from Atish and SSMA. I am planning to join Far Capital as a client once my current unit in Penang is rented out, possibly in 2028. But just out of curiosity, is there any benefit to me joining now? I don't plan to commit to another property before this one is settled. I didn't join Farcap for my first property as I wanted something in Batu Kawan. Plus, it's difficult for me to travel to KL now as I'm undergoing training at work finishing in June. But I'm definitely looking to join for my next properties and targeting the KL.
Again, the beauty about becoming a FACAP client is that you don't really have to travel to buy any property. All our launch is online. You can join our property tour if you want. Those are normally on weekends. It's completely free for clients, right? So everything is online. All the information you can get online. Project launch, everything is online, right? And when you buy a property from FACAP, so there's a couple of, in a way, things that we're going to do to give you unfair advantage. Number one, we'll make sure you buy the lowest price point. Number two, we make sure you get the maximum number of cash out so that you have enough money to pay for interest costs, renovation, etc. Okay. Third one, we also have a property renovation and property management to recommend to you. So that means you can be in Penang, still buy something in Johor. Guys, we moved 300 units in Johor in the last 3 years. 90% of our buyers have never been to Johor before they buy. Doktor lah, kerja dekat KK, pergi beli dekat Johor because why? It's a 300,000 cash out, dia nak pergi bayar hutang personal loan. Never been to Johor. Okay? But as of today, like I said, you're not betting on a deal, you're betting on a system. So we recommend you the best renovation contractor, the best property manager yang ada track record to renovate and manage property based on the rental strategy. So if you want to do co-living, we recommend this property management operator for co-living. You want to do short-term, different property management operator, different property renovation. But we can only recommend someone who has done the job, has got a proven track record. And by the way, our renovation contractor, property management have to report to us their punya achievement. If they fuck up, you complain to me, we blacklist them. And they do not want to be blacklisted because we have thousands of property purchase. So when you become a client, number one, you're going to get access to a reliable property management and renovation contractor to the point you be in Penang, you can still manage your property in Johor. Okay, so again, William is KL based, he has got property in Johor. He's got property in KL. He's now buying property in Penang, looking to buy property in Penang second one. Many of our clients also not that free to go and travel multiple states. So they just outsource completely. Again, that's the beauty lah. Whether you're Malaysian, non-Malaysian, you are Penang ke, non-Penang ke, you can still buy. Okay. Now, the other benefit here is that I think it's just safe enough to go and say when you become a FACAP client, you will understand how to look at price. So even as when you are looking at your own stay property, you're not going to overpay. Because we tend to make this classic mistake, especially for own stay property, because we like it, we overpay. Because we like it, and the family love it, and apa semua tu. What we teach you is something that you can use even for your own stay property. Right? Last but not least, if you buy the right property, your own stay property dekat Batu Kawan becomes free. Because if you can buy a property that give you 1,500, 2,000 per month positive cash flow, majority of your installment for your own stay tu dah covered lah. I literally have a client beli property kat FACAP, tapi property dia tak mahal lah sebab dekat Perlis ke kat Kedah, 200,000 je. He took the cash out, fully pay off the property. So property dia tengah pakai tu free. No more loan. He's not even 35 years old. Rumah dah habis bayar bro. And the property dia beli kat KL yang dapat cash out tu tak negative cash flow. Very happy. So I don't want to sell you the sky and the moon, but again, if you become a FACAP client, you become more financially aware. Right? More financially aware. My most remarkable story end of last year is that a guy tak pernah beli property for investment. The whole family tak pernah ada property investor. Bought something dekat Bukit Bintang. Dapat 600,000 cash out. Okay. Property today buat Airbnb tidak negative cash flow despite taking 600,000 cash out. Because again, by 50% discount. He took 600,000 to go and build 4 biji townhouse dekat Gombak. 4 units. Setiap unit boleh sewa 1,500. Satu unit dia bagi kat mak dia sebagai duit belanja. So every month collect sewa 1,500, mak dia dapat. Nafkah untuk mak. Mother very happy. Satu, dia orang Pantai Timur. So now every time dia datang dekat KL, family ada tempat tinggal, tak perlu nak sewa hotel, tak perlu nak pindah-pindah barang. Dua lagi dia sewakan dapat 3,000. These are things, crazy things you can do as a FACAP client because you have access to all of these deals, all of this case study which you can belajar. And this guy yang beli rumah, dapat cash out bila rumah tu, is not a FACAP punya case study, is another client yang buat benda yang sama dekat Terengganu, dia belajar, dia pergi buat. So what you get out of FACAP membership ni is completely up to you because we have so many of this case study. They pick and choose whichever that makes sense to you because not everyone can be me. Not everyone can be Sean. Right? Not everyone can be William, but we can all chart our own story. But the basic fundamental remains the same. Your financial intelligence is up there. You have a lot of options. You don't have financial intelligence, sorry, your family will suffer. Especially if you are the leader of the family. Look at Sean today. He's in the market and apa semua tu. He can choose to either continue to stay in Bukit Jalil or he rent his house out, get 5,000, go stay somewhere 60% of the price at a better property just 5 minutes away. Alright? These are all possibilities. All I can say is that we'll open the gateway, then it's up to you to use that membership to get maximum benefit for you and your family. I can only show you, but I cannot force you to do anything. You know, there's a, I think Chinese saying, you can bring the horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink. See, William approve. William approve ni, kata-kata Cina ni, peribahasa Cina. I don't know how to say in Chinese. You say lah, William. Kau diam je malam ni.
Macam salah je.
Mabuk diesel ke apa ni?
Macam salah je tapi tak apa.
Macam salah. Celaka.
But I think as a client of Far Capital, I think the best part about being in this ecosystem is you are not a weirdo for being obsessed with money and property investing. Right? Outside,
it's normal.
Yeah, if you go outside, you go and speak to your staff, you speak to your colleagues, you speak to, hey, I heard people buy 6 property, 10 properties, then no need money, then they keep buying watches as if the whole world, like they confirm make money, or they start counting their money already for 2027, 2028, while they are just worried about month end, whether can make ends meet or not. They will think that you're crazy. So when you are not in an ecosystem, eventually you will believe them. Maybe I should just be normal. And that's the scariest thing. So me being in the industry, like, it sounds weird, but like for 4 months, man, there's no live session like this. You know who I chat with? ChatGPT. Nobody else to talk property at this level. Very boring one. You talk about, hey, how like, is it possible this building we do this, we add branded, we do all this strategy, right? Nobody cares. Even the staff of developments don't care. They are working for money only, right? So I think if you buy your first one, congratulations, but you stay, and the assumption is this: I joined just to buy a property. No, 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 no. You should join for the knowledge to buy the right one. Because if you go outside and buy already, the regret is this, which is going to happen. You'll realize the prices that you paid outside is stupid price. So now that would be the biggest curse if you join this ecosystem, right? You cannot buy anything outside anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you another perspective, right? So number one is that sometimes you feel quite bad lah, because you think you are good buying 2 property, then you become a fuckhead client, then William got 6, and he's not even 30. Right? Bugger don't even have a car, but he got 6 property,
William got
Right?
no car one.
To my knowledge lah. Rasa aku dia tak ada kereta. Dia tak ada kereta, bro.
Holy
Dia
shit.
guna girlfriend dia punya kereta. Dia pandai ni.
Wow. Wow,
But he's not even 30, right? He's got 6 property, don't own a fucking car, right? Leeching on the girlfriend's punya car. But
No,
it's
and
smart
still
lah.
got girlfriend.
Still got a girlfriend. Girlfriend very pretty sama, weh. Girlfriend
Oh.
bukannya jongang ke apa, very pretty, weh.
Aiyo.
Bukan main-main punya. But when you have 6 property, you get pretty girlfriend lah. Tu rahsia dia, guys. Yang mana yang single-single tu kan, tak ada perempuan nak dengan kau, cuba kau ada 2-3 property. Tengok tiba-tiba perempuan datang. Now, jokes aside, if you are speaking specifically for Batu Kawan, every year I get the invite, please tolong kita jual property dekat Batu Kawan, developer tu. And my answer to them is the same. Yes, I will sell for you. I will do it, the deal, kalau we can get a 450 to 500 ringgit per square foot dekat Batu Kawan. Justification dia apa? If I can buy Penang Island property at 450, why should I buy Batu Kawan at 550 per square foot? And I'm very sure that you didn't pay anything below 550 per square foot to buy Batu Kawan. Alright. So the advantage of becoming a client is that you get to ask things macam ni. I'm buying this in Batu Kawan. Do you think it's a fair price? Okay.
All right. So moving on to the next question, we have from Henry. I am still scared to take risks, especially in buying property far from my location I'm based in. Do you guys have a property that will guarantee positive cash flow from rental? If yes, can you share the property details here?
We don't have this thing called guaranteed, right? Sekejap I don't know whether I still have the slides ataupun tidak. Macam tak ada. Okay, here's the thing, right? So we don't have this thing called guarantee, but you can participate in FACAP's ARP, right? Automated Rental Program. Whereby if you buy certain property tu, kalau kita boleh dapat 8% rental return tu, we're gonna give you 6. Right? So it is applicable to a lot of properties. I don't have a specific property, right? But to a lot of property. Let's say, for example, macam there are certain developments whereby, because we are so confident, right? We have rental management operator giving clients 6.5 all the way to even 7% return. Sebab apa? Dia confident boleh dapat 10%. So long story short, bro, if someone giving you a rental guarantee, you shouldn't take it because why? They can always get more than what they guarantee you. Sebab tu they can guarantee. Okay? And when you become a client, here's the best part. Kita akan bagi tahu dengan you, when you buy this property A, apa rental option yang ada. You buat short term, you boleh dapat berapa. You buat whole living, boleh dapat berapa. Medium term, boleh dapat berapa. You buat long term, boleh dapat berapa. Then it's up to you. Your last resort is to take the ARP, which is the so-called guaranteed return. Itu betul-betul paling last. Because already tell you, property ni boleh dapat 7, 8, 9%. But we're going to give you 5.5 ataupun we're giving you 6 because, well, we need to make money. Someone has to make money, right? Otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable. Okay? So the other thing that I can also advise you is that you want to buy property yang ada multiple rental option, which is part of our 8 filter. What does this basically mean? You don't buy property whereby you cuma ada satu saja rental option. The reason why we don't like a lot of this KLCC property, RTS property sebab semua agent jual short term stay. One rental option sahaja. Right? You should be even with minimum 2 to 3 rental option. So that means long term boleh, co-living boleh, medium term boleh, short term boleh. So you ada 4 rental option boleh break even. You beli property tu, you takkan mati. You will never die. Because why? If plan A doesn't work, there's plan B. Plan B doesn't work, there's plan C. Plan C doesn't work, plan D. Okay?
Alright. So
But wait, just want to go back to that question. If there's two perspectives to it. One, if I'm not confident in property out of state, that's why I need guarantee that it will work. To me, if I let you buy in a location that you're familiar with, also no guarantee one. So what's the source of guarantee? And I think as an investor, no such thing as guarantee. It's always a discussion about risk and return only. If not, if you put in FD lah, but FD sure guarantee meh? Inflation not under your control also. So just an advice that beyond just property, I think Mr. Faizul covered that already. But just that the whole discussion about this obsession of guarantee. And it's also a trick one, like what Faizul said lah. And they are being very honest about it lah. I can promise you 6 because we're getting 10 ma. You know, why would I want to give you guarantee for what? But for investors who don't know, who is less informed, well, guarantee sounds good, huh? So everything guarantee, sure something wrong one.
So for us, yang pelik dekat FACAP ni, we offer guarantee, client doesn't want to take because we show them we are getting 9% here. You sure you want to pass it to us and then we give you 6? So we end up having a situation whereby majority of the client don't even want our guarantee because they know we're going to make 9%. Then we give them 6. Siapa nak ambil? So the only people who take it is people who memang, you know, gaji 30, 40, 50,000 ringgit, whereby that time is very expensive. So they just don't mind. They don't care about us making that 2 to 3% because, well, I just don't want the problem. I don't want the hassle. Just pay me for the next 2 years. I'm happy to take lower. Right? So if your income is low, don't take the guarantee from FACAP. Because you can make more on your own. Why should you make less? Your income is already low. Make more lah, bro. Right? If you are making 30, 40, 50,000, okay. Working in Singapore, I understand. Your time is very expensive, not worth it. To make the additional 400 to 500 ringgit, outsource it, no problem. At least you got the option as a FACAP client.
okay. So next we have a question from Shafiq. Based on the current trend of dollar, metal price and decouple of US dollar, what is the effect on Malaysian property market for the whole year?
I think the prediction here is that the dollar will continue to be weakened against ringgit. So the dollar, because they're going to drop interest rate, so dollar is expected to weaken against ringgit. Singapore dollar will follow loosely against the dollar, but not too much juga. Right? So as far as metal price and apa semua tu is concerned, if the dollar drops interest rate, that means China, Japan semua have to follow juga. So means we actually quite okay from a metal punya POV. Dollar is the reserve currency anyway. So I think it's quite stable lah for property market. So I don't think the cost to build property will go up unless, for example, the war becomes in a way a lot more significant, therefore causes a disruption in the global supply chain. Yang tu becomes a problem. But otherwise, ringgit will strengthen against the US dollar, will maintain versus the Singapore dollar. Most likely Singapore dollar akan strengthen sikit. Singapore dollar is expected to be the strongest currency in Asia for 2026. That's my outlook.
All right. So next question we have from EV. When the property market is too hot and clamping down measures come in, how will FARCAP ensure continuous sustainable deals for clients?
Our job is to find you the best available deal at a particular point of time. The best deal at that point of time is not going to be anywhere as good as what you can get today. But it will still be the best at that point of time. Right? So that's the job. Number one. Number two here is that a lot of developers are looking to use FARCAP as a form to pre-launch their newer launch. So that means they will design that property together dengan FARCAP, taking into our consideration, our feedback as far as layout is concerned, packaging, facilities, etc. So it's not something new for us. In fact, in the last 2 tahun, we've already advised and launched 3 development pre-launch. This year will be very exciting. Okay. Nak dengar ke kita punya pre-launch? Nak dengar ke, Hin? Kalau tak nak tahu, tak apa. Kita tak payah bagi tahu. Right? Right? So just to give you a sense, right? In the next 6 to 9 months, we will launch the cheapest property walkable to a LRT station yang ada rooftop pool, whereby that property is going to be below 230,000 ringgit. Rental yield confirm above 9%, confirm positive cash flow. Also will be 70% LTV friendly. So again, below 250, inshallah positive cash flow, 70% LTV friendly. This year launch. Property launch number 1. Property launch number 2. Desa Park City, tahu Desa Park City? Siapa tahu Desa Park City kat mana? So we're gonna launch the cheapest property yang ada rooftop pool within a 10 minutes lah, I would say, right? Distance to Desa Park City kalau you drive, again below 250,000, also ada MRT station nearby. Guys, last 10 years tidak ada property boleh jalan kaki pergi LRT dengan MRT bawah 250,000. This year we're gonna have dual. These 2 property developer has been working with us in the last 2 years to develop, design the project. So most likely approval is going to come in the next couple of weeks ataupun months. So this is again FARCAP special. Hanya FARCAP client saja will be able to go and buy. Both walkable to either LRT ataupun MRT station. Both akan ada rooftop pool. So yeah. Positive cash flow, insyaAllah. Long-term rental, minimum 400 for a 200,000 ringgit punya property. So quite significant lah. So that will be the future for us.
All right. So next question we have from Sandeep. What is your opinion of Batu Kawan and its potential in Penang? I recently bought my first property, a tri-key unit there. Will be ready by Q1 2028. Rental demand is good, developing, and can cover my installment even now. The median price of the unit is 580,000 plus square foot. Many more job opportunities coming up. Are there any specific strategies you would recommend in renting in Batu Kawan or competing against other rental areas there?
So the problem with Batu Kawan here is that it's a new area. There's a lot of supply coming up. There's a lot of supply being built. There will be even more supply coming up. So one of the things that we look at is that what is the mode, right? Which is why if I want to buy Batu Kawan today, I will pay 400 to 450 ringgit per square foot maximum. Cost for 580, 600. I top up a little bit more, I can buy prime Penang Island. Property wangi. High-end property. Right? So, right? I don't have any much advice for you other than being different. But again, you are going to be competing with, let's say, for example, if you go to Batu Kawan, my client will have 100,000 cash out. You don't have a cash out. Our unit will look very different compared to your unit because you tak ada modal. Kita akan ada modal. I make sure my clients are rich enough to go and renovate the unit macam hotel. So that's the beauty of playing in a group. In a way lah, that's a disadvantage lah. Now you know why a lot of people hate Far Capital, right? Because they bought this property, tak dapat cash out, they bought a market price, only to find out we bought at 200 ringgit or 100 ringgit per square foot cheaper, we get 100 over 1,000 cash out. Right? So my advice to you, be different. And be a client. Right? So that you don't repeat this. Well, in many cases whereby if the client actually bought a property and in a way they wrongly purchased the property to the point they tak ada modal, I would advise to them just buy a second property yang boleh bagi you capital so that you akan ada modal to renovate your first property. Pun ada juga.
All right, so we have just one last question from our attendees. But before that, I saw someone asking, what is property wangi? So I would like, if possible, Faizul can answer. For the newcomers here, maybe you can define what is property wangi.
No lah. I mean, like the property wangi is not because it's like macam lelaki wangi ke apa. The property is genuinely wangi. So
It's literally wangi.
it's literally clean. It smells really good, right? So yes, which is actually quite a rarity because you normally get that in a hotel, and not just any regular hotel, right? You get it in a 5-star service apartment suite ataupun a proper hotel, right? Like a St. Regis ke Ritz-Carlton ke, you know, that like lah, Four Seasons ke, okay. It's quite rare to see a, you know, private condo which meant for own stay having similar characteristic.
Later we start saying, oh, any property wangi, category wangi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the developer will begin to, you know, hey, let's spray, you know. Let's put perfume in our property, which is great, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's good for the owners.
All right, so we have last question from Dylan. How will Sunway and IJM merger affect the property market? And is it a good thing? And has Far Capital dealt with them before?
Both of them are clients of Fakep. So IJM has, Sunway has so engaged. So long story short, you buy property from them through us is cheaper compared to you buy directly from them lah. Itu saja bro nak cakap ya. The merger will not affect the property market that much, given the fact that both of them are today operating in the upper mass market punya property segment. Sunway used to be a high-end property developer, and today they are operating in the upper mass market, quite affordable, pretty decent quality. We love both of them as a developer, pretty responsible developer, no major issues, no major drama, build quality is decent, right? And today they are making it affordable, right? So I don't think it's going to be much of a difference. The change is largely not so much on the property development, but the other form of infrastructure projects, which I think Sunway will have a lot of upper hand, because that's where IJM Corp is more familiar with, right? It's a very complementary business. But Sunway will be a powerhouse. So means they can build things cheaper, they can build infrastructure better and apa semua tu. Will it translate to cheaper property price from Sunway? Not really, I don't think so, because they are Sunway. They are very good developer with very good brand. There's no reason to make it cheaper just because,
Their
their
cost is
margins will
cheaper.
be, yeah. I mean, like, if you are LV, right, just because you can produce things cheaper, should you sell it cheaper? Not really, right? So it's like that lah. So there's major advantage for the corporation, not so much. But we are entering a property bull run era, so you're gonna see more listing from property developments coming. There will be a lot of innovative property developer who you have never heard before in the last 10 years, suddenly developing a couple of thousand units, also looking to list. These are going to be people who are like Exim, right? Probably very prime for listing as of today, right? Then you got Armani Group, right? So these are all young up and coming, Chin Hin, so also gearing up. And a lot of these developers today, they are launching more property than IJM. Comparable to Sunway from a number of units POV. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting next couple of years. This is a very rare consolidation story. If I can,
Exactly. That was my point.
yeah,
Out of that, for the past 4 to 5 years, property or construction has never been the headline of news one. Only bubble lah,
Yeah.
oversupply lah. That one lah, a lot every day lah, that one. But
yeah,
then where got exciting news to look forward? Can it shake the market? Wow, where got?
yeah. And this is the largest, right? So the largest buyout, right, thing in the history of Malaysia, 11 billion, is the first 11 figure, I think. So buyout lah, proper buyout, right? So if you're talking about merger, last time your plantation story was larger. But if you're talking about proper buyout, I think this is the largest. Certainly the largest in the property industry. So very interesting times.
But I think I made a open statement about this also. Everyone thinks property market is terrible from a residential point of view. But if you look in further away, like industrial land deals, merger, acquisition, it's as active as ever. I think the most action, like Sunway themselves also bought MCL, bought from Singapore company, they bought Singapore land, Malaysia go Singapore, buy their land and build. And at the same week, is Gamuda also bought another one. Then now everybody just fighting for canvas. Land deals is everywhere. Just that from a normal, to the gentleman just now to think whether to join later or not, right? Nobody's going to talk to you about this. People buy land, tak berkaitan dengan you juga, what? Why you care? But if you look into a direction, why are they buying at this price? Everybody just gearing up. The worst thing is when the market is here, you got no canvas. Then like just look at the market. Yeah lah. So I think that is every developer's problem right now. Like to all developers that I'm working with, hey, you got empty land. You got empty land. Anybody want to sell land?
The transaction for land is at an all-time high from a number of transactions, also value of transaction. Mahal, guys.
That's why now people don't buy land. People buy company that owns land faster.
Betul. And most of these companies are traded at a fair price point. In fact, below their full asset value.
Yeah. But you need to have money lah to play this game.
Yeah.
Wow, 11 billion. Walao.
11 billion, bro. I think the last time someone made $1 billion offer was 20 years ago, almost. UEM Sunrise.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that was the
Yeah.
last time, someone paid $1 billion. This is not $1 billion, no. 11 billion.
And they still want to think about it. And they still want to think about it.
Yeah, but I think they're also gearing up for a healthcare IPO. I think Sunway is very bullish about that.
Yeah.
So far, apparently, it's gonna be the largest IPO from healthcare POV. 11 figures.
but they're doing really well with it lah. Their shareholding strategy, IPO strategy is awesome. So, but Seremban is going to change. And the whole lighthouse just now, LB was talking about it, that one now belongs to Sunway, if it happened. The whole master plan. The sharks within the development. Oh, now Sunway one, they change owner already, the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the only company that Sunway will be buying in the next couple of 24 months. I think they're also sensing the opportunity. So it's time to buy some companies on the cheap.
Yeah, so the Wangsa Maju Mall now belongs to them. That's prime land also.
Yeah.
Woo. And that mall was temporary. Wow. Good times, exciting times. Okay, sudah pukul 1 dah. Finish, bro?
All right. Thank you to our Faizul Ridzuan and all of our panelists, and also to all of you who have attended our very first DOG session of 2026. And that was the last question from Dylan. We have answered over 200 questions tonight directly and also on live. So with that, I pass the floor back to you, Faizul.
First and foremost, thank you, the panelists, LB, Zachary, for preparing the presentation tonight. Of course, William and Sean, as usual, coming over, sharing their perspective. I think what a way to start 2026. So far, globally, doesn't look good, guys. There's a lot of turbulence, but for Malaysia, Singapore, things are looking quite good for both countries. So when things are looking good for both countries, naturally, property market seems to be quite good. Again, rental is steady for Singapore. Malaysia has gone up in the last 12 months. Property values is steady, has actually gone up quite a fair bit in Singapore, has begun to gone up in Malaysia too. So things are looking quite good for 2026. Again, today is about Penang versus KL versus Johor. You already know, it's never about the market, it's about the deal. It's about the system and the processes that you put in place to make sure that you have an advantage versus every other owner, right? So you can buy into any market at the right price point. The worst market, right price point, right strategy, you're going to make money, right? And you enter the best market, wrong price point, wrong strategy, you're still going to lose money. So it's never about the market. It's really about you and the system and the unfair advantage that you have. So again, I hope you enjoyed the last 3 hours. I'm pretty sure it's not as entertaining as, TikTok dance, but I think you learn a lot more from tonight's session, right? We've got one more session next week. It's for people who want to explore to become a client. So if you are looking to buy property, raise cash, buy property that can give you 8, 9, 10% rental yield, property that can give you 500, 1,000 per month positive cash flow, couple 100,000 capital gain, join us next week if you want to understand how we do it, what is our track record and performance. So with that, thank you again to all the panelists. Have a great week ahead, guys, and I'm going to see you guys next week. Thank you
guys
everyone
going
for
Penang?
joining. Huh?
You guys going Penang?
Yeah.
We have
Next
a
week.
property tour in Penang, yes.
When?
You want to start today?
Hey, I'm in Penang.
Is it? Oh, you
I'm
can
in
join.
Penang.
You can join.
I don't want to tell you which hotel I'm in, but maybe okay, I'll DM you guys. DM you guys.
Yeah. SM will talk to you lah. Reina will talk to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.